Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. This episode, we're going to be talking about some pretty cool news. Wizkids released their terrain article this week, as well as they're planning on releasing some more articles, so we'll get into that. Answer some listener question, and this week we're going to do a little bit of a generic gallery, a little bit of a treat for you guys. This is episode 449. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional...
Heroclix?
No.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100?
Instant deadpan humor.
Over six people think I am funny.
It's a hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that. Which,
Absolute fools, it's not.
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, back some.
Let's attack Simeon because he's a jerk.
Wow.
Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. I mean, like always, in the studio is Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
Yeah, broadcasting from Omaha.
Just
a couple Omahans.
Just a couple of fellow Omahamians. Just chilling, hanging out. We are not in the same studio because I am sick out of my mind right now. Getting better by the time, hopefully, well, not by the time you listen to this, but next time we record, hopefully we'll be in like a Dial H studio, maybe a camera or something cool. We'll have to see. But right now, I apologize if I ever kind of cough, hack, whatever throughout the recording of this. I might be crunching on a cough drop. I don't know. We're going to get through the recording despite being sick. So just a couple of bros living in Bromaha. What a great time to be alive.
Yeah, there's so much happening. The streets are filled with ice and slush and garbage. Man, yeah. We didn't get a lot of like snow, but we really packed it down into ice and then spread salt on it, so it became harder ice. And now, luckily, it's all melting, so the streets are less icy. But now all the ground is just mud. Everything is mud.
It's really beautiful. It's a great system we have going on here.
For you Primus fans, my name is Mud. Yeah, that's not a callback to anything.
Wow. Ancient.
Yeah.
What made you happy this last week, my man? Was it the snow we got? I doubt it.
Oh, no, it
I
was
think
not.
so.
I actually, what sucks is like once there's snow on the ground, I prefer it to stay like below freezing, because once it starts melting, then it's like, I hate mud. I hate muddy stuff. It's a one downfall of like having a yard is having mud filled in the yard. But no, it made me happy this week. Couple things. I started a webcomic based off of somebody posted an image from it on Twitter, and I was like, that looks goofy. What is this? I want more information. And then I looked up some more information about it, and after reading through the Fanpedia a little bit, I was like, this sounds wild. I'm just going to actually like give it a try. And the name of it is Kill 6 Billion Demons or something like that.
Nice.
Kill 6 Billion Demons, I'm pretty sure is the name. And it's free. It's got its own website. It's a pretty good website as far as like webcomics go. Some of the functionality isn't there completely, but they do for like the bigger splash pages. Whoever the artist is does like a open full-size image or open textless images. So like you can look at like the splash pages in more detail. Some of like the work they do, they like these huge sprawling like cityscapes where you can zoom into different sections of the city and see like little random details and stuff. It's really cool. I will say the comic is probably, I don't know what the comic code rating would be, but it's like 18 plus. There's a ton of gore, small amount of nudity, but mostly gore. Just it's like about like fighting and in like a fantasy realm. So there's a lot of like people exploding or getting limbs cut off and stuff due to fantasy stuff. But other than that, I found it really entertaining. In 3 days, I caught up to a decade's worth of work that this person put into it, which feels bad and funny at the same time. Like,
went completely down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, just the fact that like somebody like painstakingly probably took like 3 weeks to do one splash page, and I like glanced at it for like 2 seconds. It was like next page.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So that made me happy. I also started playing XCOM 2, which XCOM, I think I've talked about it before. It's like one of the closest video game true-ish to Heroclix kind of. It's not like a tie-in whatsoever, but gameplay-wise, it's all grid-based, like moving into different squares. There's like hindering terrain and blocking terrain, kind of. There's charge and like running shot, kind of. There's things like that like are pretty cool, and like each person gets to do 2 actions per turn. So, or not like each player, because it's you versus the computer, but each character on your force, I should say, gets to do 2 actions. And so yeah, it's been fun. I forgot how terribly difficult XCOM games are, like just completely punishing, because your squad's like meant to be expendable to an extent. So you'll go into a mission just vastly underprepared, and by the end of it, you'll have like 1 lone survivor that like got the mission done, but now you have to start rebuilding your team from the ground up, and it just does not give you a whole lot of time to do that. So it's rough. And then like late game's real rough. I haven't gotten there in XCOM 2 yet, but like in the previous XCOMs, you get late game and you lose, like, let's say like your sniper who was like ranked up 10 times, and he ends up just getting unluckily like critically hit or something. You lose him, and then now like you have to start training a rookie sniper to like back from the basics, and it just like sucks. You're like, I miss all my old abilities and stuff. But no, it's really fun. I'll probably put 100 hours into it or so.
Oh heck yeah, there we go.
That's the way I
love
am.
to hear it.
Yeah.
All right, well, dope, dude. I love it. I'm just gonna sink into either a webcomic or just absolutely pour the hours into XCOM. That's dope. I'm along the same lines. I got recommended to me a game by my little brother. It is called Off. People might have heard of it. I'm very late to the party. I think it came out in like 2008 or something. It is a pixelated RPG game. Similar to Undertale, I guess you could say in ways, I suppose, but it's cooler than Undertale. You're allowed to kill everything, whatever ending or the normal ending. So big fan on that. The combat is okay in the game. It's a bit non-necessary, I guess, but it's really cool. There's a lot of really good themes. It was translated from, I believe, French. The dude that made this game is French, and so it's a Bill de Rocher type song game translated into English, but it's really fun. So you are basically you want to purify the world from all these ghost, spirit, spectral creatures. You play the Batter, who is literally a dude in a baseball uniform with a baseball bat, and it's kind of funny. It's got some interesting themes. It has some really cool questions about morality, and the world that it's made is also really. All these people are like NPC form. They're just like just doing my little task, not even thinking. And the world is made up of like 4 elements. We later find out there's like a 5th element, and it's not earth, water, fire, and air. It's plastic and smoke and like all these really industrialized, like weird elements.
Not love. Okay. Not
no,
the 5th element. Yeah.
Right. No, love is not a part of this game whatsoever. We be killing babies in this game. There ain't no love in this game. Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a really interesting game. All the monsters are just so freaky. Even your like allies, I guess, or like the shop owner that you can buy stuff from between like certain levels of the world is also just like super creepy looking. And later he's like wearing the face of a dead enemy, and it's like, why are you doing that, Zachary? Why that sudden change in wardrobe? What was that? And it's like, I don't know. He doesn't do anything rude to you. He still sells you your wares. But it's like, interesting choice, man. And that's the version people cosplay too, by the way, because ironically, that face is less creepy than his normal face. So
okay.
it's an interesting game. But I completed it. I might play it again while I'm chilling at home, being sick, to get the other ending. So that should be really fun. There's a lot of things. There's also a secret boss that I missed in my first playthrough, so I might take the steps to like try to figure out how to get to like this secret boss and all that stuff. But it's been a really fun game. It's been a fun time. Also, one other thing that made me happy this week, I had the drive down to Omaha, which is about 5 hours. So with that, I began my Simeon-esque video series I'm watching. It's not akin to like the 50-hour documentaries he's watched. It's only a 9-hour documentary, but it is an entire retelling of the entire lore of Lego series Bionicle. So I am 6 hours into learning all the secrets of Matanui, Metro Nui, and all the Ta-X, because Ta just means blank. Ta means fire. Look at me. Ooh, ah. So Tahu and other fire Bionicles I now know. And then there's just a little 2-letter thing for each element in Bionicle. There's like 16 elements in Bionicle, not the 4 that are in Off, sadly. And then also like they don't matter. Like there's just like a handful of them that it's just like, yeah, sure, the technically iron and sand are elements, but Lego never made toys of any of the iron or sand Bionicles, so they're not important. Yeah,
the iron and sand villages have been destroyed long ago.
Yeah, well, actually, the Iron Village was destroyed long ago, Simeon. You're not even wrong. They stomped out the Iron Village. They were like, yeah, that's enough of the. I don't know what you want to call it.
Well, after that, you're definitely going to have to watch the same kind of video based on the Ninjago series.
Oh, dude.
Get all the Ninjago lore.
I was slightly older when Ninjago was happening. I understand Ninjago lore more. Like, as a kid, reading, like, Bionicle comics and collecting Bionicles, like, I found out I had, like, the evil mass murderer, like, I almost said a really bad word. Whatever. He was a bad dude, Bionicle, and I'm like, man, that was one of my favorite toys as a kid. He had a sick jet that he like. It was like a jet ski thing that he had, little plane. Thanks. I got the war criminal Bionicle. Thanks, Lego. I didn't. Hey, Grandma, you didn't know at the time, but not a hero, not a great dude.
Why do all my relatives keep buying me Decepticons? This is
yeah. It's kind of like it. There's like they don't know, man. They don't know that the purple pointy logo is the bad logo. But yeah, so that has been really fun diving into the Bionicle lore. I've also watched the first movie again, just to catch a refresher and just diving fully into it. I'll assume I'll watch the other couple movies even after the big lore recap. But that has been what's made me happy this week. Love That's it. Cool. We're both just sinking time into.
Yeah. I will say, like, I owned a Bionicle when I was a kid, and all I remember is, like, they had a mask that could come off, and there was like, a goo face thing that could also be removed.
Yes.
That's all I remember from the toys.
Some of them had, like, brains inside there. Yeah, the little worm deals. Yeah, they were awesome.
That's all I remember. Is I was like, I wish I had more of these so I could like switch and swap and blah blah blah.
Because they were different colors. Because exactly. Yep. About getting that mask of life, mask of light. It's the most overpowered mask. The other masks not as good. Mask of life. Boom. That's the money right there. No, yeah, Bionicles are awesome. I love the ones I had. My favorite one had like Wolverine claws. Like they just straight up made a mold that was claws, Wolverine, but he also had a gun that when you would press the button, the barrel would light up red, flash like it's shooting lasers. And then also they had little ball shooters. I think his was on his shoulder that could shoot balls. And I'm just like, yo, this dude is a beast. He's a baller. Like this dude's awesome. So yeah, Bionicles were so easy. Like as a kid, you're like, I want more. I want all of them. They're almost all not identical. Functionally all the exact same toy, really, but dang, are they so cool. Lego knew how to make money. It's no surprise here. They understood how a child's brain works. Like, they're gonna want them.
Documentary, like whether the toys came first or the show came first, because I feel like I remember the toys being out before any of like the show or movie, but maybe I just never caught it.
It was kind of like the same developmental process. So this is just like the lore of Bionicle, and they mention the toy line where it comes like first mention it after the first. This is actually really like 4 hours into it. They finally mention a straight up effect of it being a toy line, having that on like the series, because it's like had the Balrogs. They happened. That was like last season. Then they're happening again, and it's like, why are there now new Balrogs? Literally because they sold really well. You know, like that was the first time they mentioned like the toy sales like impacting the actual story. But they didn't mention if it came first. I assume it was always like when Lego makes any toy, they make the toy first, I would assume, and then it always feels like retroactively they like make a little story. But Bionicle is so like it has such in-depth lore, you know, like it had a DC comic, like it had all this like stuff going on, all these movies, that maybe they were like, well, here's the, I mean, obviously they're a toy company, right? So the idea has to be toy first, and then it's like, well, then how do we market the toy? And then it'd be like, well, boom, here's this. Like unless somebody who's like, I have a great idea, but Lego bricks don't do it justice. Would you guys like to make ball and socket joints that are and like little pins?
Swapping out heads doesn't do enough. I also need to be able to swap brains and souls. My Legos have souls. Let me swap them.
Oh, geez. Swap the soul.
It reminds me heavily of Hot Wheels tried to break their mold at one point, and they did like the Hot Wheels TV show where there was like these discs that would give cars different powers. Like this disc makes your car real thin. This one makes it like, I don't know, shoot out ropes. I don't remember. So like there was this Hot Wheels, like it was actually like a fun show-ish. At least my child brain remembers it being somewhat fun. But it was like, you know, kid in like his Hot Wheel vehicle of choice for whatever reason was like his mom's van that was like souped up.
No.
And so he's racing against like aliens and like drag car racers and like all these like professionals, and he had like the heart of the wheels or whatever, so he won in the end. But yeah, there was like this whole plot development about these weird tokens or coins or something that like would change or like power up the car. And at the very end episode, he lost all of the tokens. He had all 6 or whatever. Lost them all to the bad guy. But then his drifting skills and driving skills, he didn't even need them.
Ooh.
The tokens and coins were just the friends he made along the way.
No.
So it was bad, but I remember Hot Wheels trying to like capitalize on that by bringing out like a series of cars that like no one wanted. No one wanted you to break the mold like that. Like you make the one thing.
Hot Wheels, quite literally, stay in your lane, guys. What is this? What are you doing here? Goodness gracious. I love that Hot Wheels made quite literally the plot to Part 6 Star Adventure as a show. That's really funny though, with the discs giving out powers. That's nice. Nice Hot Wheels. Who did it first? Who copied who?
It's true. It's hard to tell.
Copying Hot Wheels? A superpower disc? Boom, you get a superpower. What's my superpower? You get to be real thin. Body dysmorphia is my superpower. Awesome. Thank you, Hot Wheels.
I'm glad I can help me. Well,
go through.
Imagine like there's like a canyon that a normal person can't fit.
You can go through an alley. And why would I drive in an alley?
You know that really awkward moment when you're trying to drive down a neighborhood and there's a car parked there and you're going with like the direction that car's parked and there's a car coming against it and you're like, oh, like we both can't fit, so you have to stop. So like imagine if that doesn't happen. And it's like, absolutely, I will take that superpower.
And save seconds off your day with this superpower. It's like, thank you.
You could have picked like Superman or Wolverine or all these other superpowers. No, I want the car one where I don't have to have that little awkward moment where I have to sit there and wait for someone to drive by me. That's what I want.
Give me a real superpower. Like I get I don't have to stop at a 4-way. I can keep blasting through. Everybody has to stop for me. Give me a real superpower that's car related. You know, I can change the lights at any point in time, maybe only a couple times a day. I don't know, but like change traffic lights. You're not ready for that superpower, are you, Hot Wheels? Anything so. You don't want to give me real power. All right, let's get into. Let's talk about Heroclix here for a little bit. Rules update, Simeon. If you have the article pulled up, I would love for you to get into it. But we mentioned this a little bit on our podcast with Scotty D a few months ago at Worlds about how the rules are going to be changing for Beyond Amazing. It was mostly about like how we're going to get certain, changes to maps and these new terrain markers. It looks like there's going to be more than that, but we'll just focus on this article this week now to focus on these new terrain markers. So hit me with it. What can we expect from these new terrain markers?
So it is Heroclix 2023 rules update, ramping up the fun. Heroclix 2023 rules update number 1, terrain markers. So they say, greetings, Heroclix masterminds. Hey, that's you. Over the past 2 years, we have examined and learned from our last rules update. The 2021 rules update lived up to its goals of making the game more accessible to players, and we still plan to adhere to the spirit of that update. Whereas that update focused on streamlining the core gameplay, this small slate of changes will focus on increasing the excitement and flavor of most games without markedly increasing the complexity of its rules. We will be the judges of that. Rules. Yeah, rules. I remember being really hard on the 2021 rules.
Dude,
updates.
we kind of were. There came a midpoint where once we started like playing with them,
Yeah.
and we were like, oh, okay, this actually is really solid. I think Thursday Throwdown really helped out with that.
Yeah, I think to be fair, we mostly made fun of like the way they worded it. Like they were like, "It's gonna be more fun, more interesting." And I was like,
Yeah, dude.
Is it?
Well, he said fun about 30 times in one article about something. I was just like, wow, what in the world? What are we doing?
All right, so rules you read about in these articles won't take effect until closer to the release of Marvel HeroClix Spider-Man Beyond Amazing. Not exactly Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, but maybe exactly that. It just says closer to that. When players have the updated rulebook in hand, as with all rules updates, we will reveal the PAC and comprehensive rulebook ahead of that release. So that's exciting. They say, over the course of this series, we will walk you through the upcoming changes. Our goal is to both demonstrate the fun behind the changes, as well as clarify any initial questions you may have. Individual articles will go more in depth, but in broad strokes, this specific rules update began with a single question: how do we make standard objects matter again? Which is, to be fair, a good question. Because, no one was playing heavies. No one was using super strength for a +1 damage.
Yeah.
Continued. Standard light and heavy objects have long been overshadowed by equipment, which is also true. Worse, they have been relegated to a single function, augmenting an attack early in the game. As we discussed ways to improve objects, it became clear that we encountered broader issues of maps, terrains, and customization. This rules update quickly became known as the Terrain Update among our designers and testers, as our experiments with new object rules evolved into new terrain marker rules. To put the core of this update as simply as possible, objects will be considered a type of terrain marker, and players may place terrain markers, including objects blocking water, hindering, or elevated, on the map during setup. Each player may include up to 3 terrain markers on their build, in any combination between objects, the standard 1x1 square terrain markers, or the new markers we're about to discuss. So this is interesting in a couple different ways. So you'll no longer have like the choice of 3 lights, 3 heavies, combination of like any of those, and be relegated to 3 of those. You'll also be able to choose when like you're playing on a map to just place certain squares of blocking out. Like you could just do 3 squares of blocking on any map now. 3 squares of water, 3 squares of hindering, 3 squares of elevated potentially.
That is going to be so good.
Which is, it's
my
wild.
Gosh.
And then that's the standard 1x1 square terrain markers. And then the new markers that we're about to discuss will also be factored in. So we're going to get to some that are like bigger and larger kind of things. So those will probably, honestly, this will probably eventually just phase out normal objects. The like standard light and heavy, I would imagine. I think, depending on the build, I might want 2 squares of blocking in this like area, and one of my special new markers in this area, and then I just don't play any lights or heavies, and that makes a lot of sense to me. From like a a gameplay aspect that makes a lot of sense that I would play it that way. I don't know if that was their intention, though.
How important like the map is to the game. If you're telling me I can always bring a guaranteed piece of terrain that I need for my team, that's just way bigger than +1 damage on an attack. You know, like the utility, I guess, of having these map terrain, especially since you have a limited scope of what they do so far, and they probably only do more and get better as we see more of them. You know, it's just, yeah, they seem like the way to go over any object, honestly.
Yeah, like with most like added extra like game things, I think they'll get more powerful and interesting as they go. I can't imagine that they get like worse as they make them.
Oh yeah, there's no way. And so I think it's going to be up to characters like Sakari and Iron Man, or any other character that like uses specifically objects, and maybe game designers referencing objects and giving them more of a use to make them as useful when compared to their like terrain, their other terrain counterparts, I guess, since they're all under that same like roof now.
Yeah, and definitely that's like something to think of going forward. Is there's a decent possibility of like Shi'ar soldiers and people that like generate things.
Yeah.
Like, there's been people that have generated objects before. There's been people that generate terrain before. There's probably going to be people that make these new markers at some point. Like that just makes sense. That tracks with Heroclix as a whole. So to continue, much like with the current rules for objects, during setup, each player may place three terrain markers anywhere on the map outside of their starting areas. While this is undeniably a large update to the rules, it's in many ways smaller than the 2021 update. A few PAC powers will receive tweaks to give them greater interactivity with terrain, but the mechanics of the game will largely play the same as they have. We also will take this opportunity to clean up the comprehensive rules and make some tweaks that have been long requested. Ooh. And we hope that you will be as excited to see them over the series as we show them to you. Over this and the following 3 articles, so we got 3 more after this one, we will break down all the new information in this rules update. So yeah, that's not a whole lot. That's just kind of like promises that like, obviously, yeah, the 2021 update was pretty expansive. It was pretty large.
Yeah, I don't know how you make a more, a bigger update than that. Like, it's like, oh, hey, pushing damage, forget about it. It's like, huh? What? Like that alone.
To be fair, we're kind of just undoing that, so that one at least,
True.
Or not pushing damage. No, I guess pushing damage isn't being undone. I was thinking knockback damage. Dang it.
Oh, knockback. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Knockback.
No, pushing damage. Yeah, pushing damage was a huge change. That was what broke the classic Clicks players away
Clicks
from
community.
The rest of the world.
Yikes!
They dug into their hole and created a hollow earth based on that one bit of news. They're like, I can't believe that people won't take pushing anymore. Yeah, I think, to be fair, I was mad about that at first. I was like, I liked the thematic aspect of like pushing a character to like get another attack in, the risk reward kind of aspect. But I've grown to be okay with all of these changes. So next up is making a marker. So making a mark, but then they add the ER. That's cute. As mentioned, objects will fold into the umbrella of terrain markers, but with this comes a secondary change. We will retire the terms and distinction between light and heavy objects. Objects going forward will be a single subcategory of terrain markers, with standard objects most closely resembling what were previously light objects. So standard objects will be light objects. Everyone will be able to pick them up, kind of thing. They're not going to be light and heavy objects anymore. It'll just be objects, and then there will be terrain. And on top of all of that, everything's basically going to be terrain. It's going to be like, even if it's like a light or heavy object or whatever from the years of old, it'll be a terrain marker of a sort now. So then they've got some bullet points. They won't change the terrain type of the square they occupy. They can be picked up by any character. They can be used for bonuses during attacks. So that's going to be for standard objects. I believe that's what they're mentioning. Yeah, objects going forward will be a single subcategory. So light and heavies, will be won't change the terrain type. They can be picked up by any character and can be used for bonuses during attacks. Then they go on, for fans of super strength, don't worry about the loss of heavies, which 2 years too late on that one a bit. People were kind of upset about that when Wonder Woman dropped. Super strength will enable characters to pick up any terrain marker except for debris, smoke, and water, and use it to make attacks. Has your opponent hidden themselves behind barrier? Have your attacker rip out those blocking markers and use them to augment their attacks. But how do you know how much extra damage that marker deals? So this is pretty big. Super strength can now pick up barrier. Not just like a certain character that can run through it or destroy it or what. Like I can literally charge up, pick up square barrier, and then hit somebody with it.
Well, that's the biggest thing is that you're not destroying it, right? Because you get to pick it up, you can occupy it without the whole after resolutions, blah 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 blah. Like that's so cool.
That, and then also, if for whatever reason you don't want to use it in an attack, you can potentially place it back down somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to like rearrange like the battlefield, I think sidestep and super strength are going to be like a weird combo that was never really wanted before. That'll be like interesting now. If I can like sidestep, pick this up, and then move, drop it over here, something like that. They continue. Value judgments. With this update, we will see all sorts of new markers and all sorts of shapes beyond the simple 1x1 markers. So that would be your classic barrier, smoke, water, etc., etc. Single square marker. So shapes beyond the simple markers we've had in the past. These markers have unique values printed on them that show how those markers interact with characters. So they've got an example shown here of what has a blocking border. So it's a piece of blocking terrain, but it's got a big brown border, and then it's got a damage symbol with a number 4 under it. It has a giant symbol with the number 2 under it. It has, or no, that's a lightning bolt. Sorry. It's got a lightning bolt with a number 4, a giant size symbol with a number 2, a damage symbol with a 3/+2, and then a new symbol that we haven't seen before. So they go into detail on this. For example, let's take a look at this 1x2 blocking marker. You'll see there is a window on the bottom of it that shows its object values. First, lightning bolt, and so that's range value and giant size. Shows the range that this object can be thrown with a ranged terrain action, as well as giant reach of X. X being a value a character can use while making a close terrain action. So for this specific one, it gives you a 4 range to do a ranged terrain action and throw it that far. Or you can use it and, like, if you're holding it, you have a 2 squares, like X equals 2 for your giant reach. So it gives you like a little bit of extended reach, which makes sense because it's a 1x2 object or 1x2 terrain piece. So you're like swinging this, longer weapon, I guess. I don't know, improvised weapon. Next, the damage symbol is the damage the object deals. The first number, which on this case is 3, is the number. Let's see, it's the damage it deals when thrown. So if you throw it instead of hitting somebody with it, you get 4 range. You don't need printed range on your character to use these. You can use the printed range on the object or the terrain. Jeez, I'm going to make that mistake 100 times. But yeah, you can throw
That's all right.
4 squares to deal 3 damage with this specific one. But the second number is the damage value modifier used during close terrain action. So again, this specific one, because it's a 1x2, can only be picked up with somebody with super strength. But it has a +2. So anyone with super strength grabbing this and smacking someone, not only do they get a +1 to their reach, they also get +2 to their damage when they hit with it. The final symbol, which this just looks like it's a circle that's being like exploded-ish. It's like a cracked circle kind of symbol. Yeah. The final symbol is the minimum damage value a character must have to target this terrain with a close/range destroy action. So this particular one is 3, which is normal for blocking. So if you don't have 3 damage, then you can't destroy this blocking, which it's cool that you can just destroy it. And I think when we were talking to Scott, I don't know if they get into the nitty-gritty here, but I think when we were talking to Scott, he was saying if you destroy it, the whole thing's destroyed. It's not like you're going to destroy square. So yeah, if you deal 3 damage to this 1x2, then there's 2 squares that are destroyed, which is cool because otherwise it'd be really hard to keep track of it.
Right, yeah.
You need like a Rubik's Cube object to like flip things over. Like, oh, this square is now green instead of brown. They continue. Now, of course, there are plenty of object and terrain markers already printed that don't have these object value boxes printed on them, but that's okay. For any terrain marker without its own printed values, there are default values. Any terrain marker that lacks a defined set of terrain values uses these ones. For range, no extra to your giant reach, so no giant reach. Damage is 2 if thrown, +1 if used as a close terrain action, and then it takes 3 damage to destroy. So that would be, going forward, essentially picking up a piece of barrier is the same as having a light object, what that used to be, or, using a light object is the same as a light object used to be. You do have to have a printed 3 to destroy a light object, which I don't know if you had to before. I don't think there was like a predetermined.
I did. Like if you're just gonna shoot, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
At least for a heavy object, I knew if you wanted to like destroy it, you didn't have to have like a 3 damage.
So they say these default terrain values are shared by any terrain marker without printed values, be it hindering or blocking object or elevated. Wait, elevated markers? Going up?
Wild. I love this so much.
This is probably like my favorite part, and I get that like there's there may be a little bit of naysaying about it, but personally it just excites me a lot that there's going to be, and it does. We talked about this with Scott, and it did seem like, yeah, why wasn't that ever a thing before? Like 20 years of Heroclix, and no one ever thought like, what if you could place elevated? Like there's a few characters with special powers that could do similar stuff, but yeah. They say, with Marvel Heroclix Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, we're introducing elevated terrain markers. Take this 2x3 marker as an example. And it looks like a shipping crate, like top-down kind of thing. The shipping crate, so I believe, this is a 2x3, so it takes up 6 squares. It's a rectangular object. It gives you a giant reach of 3. It has 4 range if thrown. It does 3 damage if thrown. Otherwise, it gives you a +2 damage if used in a close attack. And then it takes a whole 4 printed damage. Or not technically printed, but it takes 4 damage to destroy this, which isn't something that you're usually going to like waste an action on. Now, because this is a 2x3, you might just to like clear it. But
yeah, maybe you will though. Like of +1 to whatever. I like that it is +1. It's not like elevation 2 or whatever. So whatever elevated it's on, it's +1 higher than that, which is really cool. So, man, a 2x3, 6 squares of just elevated terrain in your map. Maybe you do just take the action.
Some
to get rid of
maps,
this thing.
elevated is just as good as blocking to like reduce line of fire. So what this does, it's got transition squares on every square of it. So every corner that you could like enter or go to this object, you have a transition square. At least that's what it seems like. It's got little arrows. Yeah, and the blocking one does not. So I'm assuming that's what that is. And it's going from whatever elevation this occupies, and then it says +1. So if you drop this on, a flat map that only has elevation 1, this is now elevation 2. If you drop it like on something terrible like I can't even remember the name of that terrible elevated map, Galgador.
Oh geez, Galador Promenade.
Yeah, drop this on there.
Oh,
and that one little section that this will fit, and all of a sudden it's like a 1 through 4 elevation map.
Yeah, gee.
They say you'll notice the border of this terrain marker has multiple transition square triangles showing +1. Elevated terrain markers are considered to have transition squares on. Considered to have transition squares with every square sharing their edge. The +1 shows that this marker raises the elevation of the squares it's in by +1, or by 1. Elevated terrain markers also herald the much requested return of a rule that we eliminated in 2021 update, falling damage. If this marker is picked up or destroyed, the resulting fall will deal each character on it 1 damage, just as if they were knocked off an edge of elevation. We'll have more about that in an upcoming rules article, though. I really hope that it's not just relegated to these special terrains and that it's any fall damage. I think it will be.
I hope so. Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense to do that because that would just make these overly complicated. That'd be like, oh, not here, but there. But here, but not there, And I think they're trying to get away from that. So I do think that'll be a universal thing, fall damage, which is cool. That's definitely something that I missed when the 2021 update hit. And
I've really missed. I've missed knockback and falling damage so much. Oh my gosh!
The old pulse wave force blast combo off of elevated was so fun.
Nasty.
I say it was so fun as Isaac Danke magnetoed me into a wall to kill half my team with one action. But
you ruined my day one time. Thanks, Isaac.
What could he possibly do? He does 1 printed damage. At best.
Magneto, what a loser.
Yeah, he's a robot. He can't do more than 1 damage.
Nice error tokens. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So to finish it up, they say, clicks from the vault. One of our goals as we make these changes similar to previous updates is that more figures that are already in players' collections will be fun to play with. More of the characters that you already know and love will have a chance to make it on the table as part of a slugfest in the world's #1 miniature game. I agree with this. I mean, that's one of their goals. I think just the fact that making super strength better means that any character that had that, there wasn't anyone in Wonder Woman with it, I don't think.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was benched. But there was a few characters that had super strength since then where it was just okay, I guess that's fine.
Yes, they can do knockback, it wasn't much. Yeah.
And so now, I'll have to definitely relook at all of those characters that have come out where it's maybe it's worth taking a double look at them, the Blue Marvel for 50 points from Avengers Forever. His last 3 clicks are super strength with charge. It's maybe that's something I'm gonna play around with. All those or not all of those, but the mindful one instead of the mindless one. The named mindless one. He has super strength this whole dial. So there's a lot of characters that have been made in the interim where super strength wasn't doing anything, and now it's doing stuff again, and that's definitely going to impact those characters. There's also characters that we've seen that can interact with terrain in different ways, and so maybe they'll be able to interact with this new terrain.
Ian Jarvis is going to be literally able to sweep up the shipping container and put it in his dustpan and throw it away.
I hope so.
It's going to be hilarious. Yeah, if you remove one piece of terrain from the map, right?
Yeah.
You just be yo, that's gone. And it's
hey, which
nice.
one of you Avengers left this shipping container here?
Pick
Don't
up your
mind
toys.
me, the butler. I guess I'll take care of it.
And he just picks it up.
It's believable, though, because he has
throws it away.
Stark Tech dustbins. So,
True.
Yeah,
dude.
They probably use PIM particles to shrink down whatever.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. Sweeping's easy.
Jarvis gets so clean. He's just shrinking everything.
Yeah, he doesn't actually sweep or anything. He just has a Roomba that zaps any obstacle with PIM particles and then inhales it.
Great.
Actually, I'm going to cut that from the podcast because I'm trademarking. Roomba that has PIM particle laser. I'm going to trademark that in case somebody ever develops PIM particles. That's a great idea.
Ant-Man 4 Return to Quantum Mania somehow didn't die when Kang folded him like a chair. He's got his PIM particle Roomba. Yeah.
That's it for update 1. So they go into rules update 2 is going to be the impact 2 maps, which I believe will be a big one. Obviously, one of the biggest things is being able to place these at the beginning of the game. How will that impact a map? Will you be able to like block off certain areas? And the answer is yeah, kind of, sort of. We'll have to
a little
see.
bit, but in our podcast with Scott, he also mentioned transition squares, which is what I assume is going to be the biggest part of this next article, is talking like how maps are just going to have more transition squares that aren't just moving from one elevation to another elevation that he mentioned. So hopefully there is a bit more game balancing in these maps going forward. Yeah. Obviously, old maps don't have the new transition squares, so we don't know how. Probably are just going to be able to like cut off total sections of the map with this stuff, I guess. But at the very least, I assume this next article is going to go into like transition squares. What parts of the map are going to be? Yeah, right. I assume that's going to be because that'll look weird
at the beginning of the game
out of somewhere.
It's going to be. I mean, it's going to be huge. Like, obviously, you'll be able to move these during the game, but being able to place them and like try and block off. I mean, that's why we had special terrain before, and that's why certain maps never saw play, like never were legal, is because special terrain interacted with them badly. Rules update 3 is going to be updated powers and abilities, which that's just going to be PAC stuff.
They said like super strength and everything. Yeah,
right. Quake and I think energy explosion. I think energy explosion and Quake are going to be able to like do multiple.
I think he did mention Quake and super strength for sure.
And then comprehensive rules and miscellaneous changes. So that's just going to be a general update, as they said at the beginning of this. Like, people were asking for certain things to be clarified or written better. So I guess at the end of the day, the big news is that Spider-Man is going to have probably, well, hopefully, the best comprehensive and most updated PAC. So we'll see what that starter set looks like. We'll
I hope it's a good one.
See what that MSRP is on it, because it's going to be. I mean, it's not going to be necessary. You can always download the PDFs, but it will be the most updated one that somebody can buy. So that's cool. Also, for whatever reason, they used an image of Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, is it Jekyll? Is this not Frankenstein?
It could be. Is it Dr. Frankenstein?
I don't remember. I don't know which one's which. Maybe Jekyll, because he's got brown hair. I don't know. I do not remember. But I don't know. That's kind of like
Frankenstein. Jekyll has a brown coat. Same face.
Boom. Got it.
Head. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's totally the same. Dr. Frank, I got you, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like their cool image of like professor, scientist, man. I do like it that they're using it though as their
they're
article.
Like, we're about to unleash our monster.
Oh,
the Wizkids monster.
Yeah, dude, these will be cool. I'll be cautiously optimistic. I'm curious to see how well they'll be implemented into the game, and mostly I'm just on the edge of my seat for the rest of these articles. We're already almost halfway into the next week since this article came out, and I want to know more. Even though I guess it's only been 4 days, really. So they've got another 3 days-ish at the time of this recording anyways.
They definitely could drop another one. Did they drop this? They dropped this Monday, like Monday morning. I have a feeling that, I mean, it's going to be slow until Spider-Man drops anyhow, so there's not going to be a lot going on. I have a feeling they might just do every Monday for like the next 4 weeks, kind of like a slow January into February kind of thing. But, I mean, it is possible that they drop multiple a week.
I don't know. They might drop multiple a week if they start butting up on Scott Porter video upload time. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because like, you don't want to be clogging. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. They want to clog their both avenues of. Oh well, there's also a video over on YouTube, but hey, there's also an article on the website. So they might. They're
not going to make Scott talk about that.
They may. I don't know. I don't. Probably not. It'll probably literally just be like he'll like mention it.
I remember
he's like, "Oh, what's all this weird stuff?"
I remember from like the Wonder Woman unboxing that I think it was like a few videos in. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember like a few videos in, it was clear that he didn't realize that there were powers that were benched. Like he hadn't been foretold about that, and he was like, "Weird that this character doesn't have like this power."
Right.
Like a Superman, no super strength. And like I remember that vividly, being like, "Oh, the poor soul was not told whenever he recorded
Oh,
this. That
Scotty. Poor Mr. Porter. Oh gosh. So yeah, that will be interesting. That'll be interesting. Maybe he'll be clued in. Maybe he won't be in this unboxing. Yeah. But all right, that is the changes to terrain and these terrain markers. So listeners, write in, leave us a comment that you're on YouTube or going back to the Facebook post or Twitter post of this podcast being shared, or however you want to write us an email, however you want to say, and just tell us what you think about this change to terrain. What do you feel about it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? And maybe you're cautiously optimistic like us, and you're just kind of curious to see how this will be implemented. I think it'll be really fun. I love the idea of just U.S. agent running by, yoink, a bunch of people fall, smack someone with it.
That's probably the craziest thing is if you could do like a mind control bomb kind of thing.
Ooh.
And like maybe this is like too much setup for not enough damage, but you like get everyone up onto like elevated and then just yank it out from under them and hit them with it. Like run, I'm like charging by,
Yeah.
I grab this shipping container, you all fall, and then I like stop and turn around and slap one of them with it.
Smack you. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
obviously
gold. I love that so much.
I think that this will, like, with Heroclix, Wizkids, like, general flow of how things go, I think we'll get a set or two where we just have kind of generic shapes and sizes for these terrain pieces. But then I definitely think that at some point we'll get specialized ones or ones that, like, cost points or maybe have keywords or something.
I think so.
Maybe not keywords, but who knows? Objects have keywords now, so
Yeah, objects have keywords. Maybe the shipping containers like keywords. The Punisher
Wayne Tech
tackle
shipping
bot.
container.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Stark, little launcher, something or other container. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool though. I like it.
Yeah.
So
Ant-Man's
never know.
Roomba. It'll have the
yeah,
Ant-Man
boom, there
keyword.
it is. Ant-Man's Roomba. Okay. Gosh. Wait till they make the quantum realm keyword. They start handing that out. If we got an Ant-Man movie set, I bet we would get the keyword. Guaranteed. Anyways. But yeah, it's really cool. We can see what they'll do in the future, but right now it's just kind of like, well, there they are. Also, when you said like you set up that big mind control, pick it up from under everybody, that's literally, my brain was like, oh, that's like the Enchantress rickety bridge of Heroclix.
Oh, yeah.
Put them all on the shipping container.
Rickety
Yoink
bridge.
it out from under them.
Oh, did I tell you about that?
Yeah,
Oh,
you did.
yeah.
I had it done to me. I like slam jam Colossus there, and some dude was like armor. I'm like, oh, cool. So I can just play whatever. Turned off, and I was running it on going event. I was like, you scumbag, evil man, how dare you?
It was such a bad play on my part because I played when I was doing it, like when I was playing it, I played armor there, not realizing what his deck was, and then it was like after armor played, he played something, and I was like, oh, he's got a move deck. That is bad.
Shoot.
And
No, it's
so
not
like
as fun.
he moved like a bunch of stuff, like was like, you know, doing normal move deck stuff, and I got Enchantress, and I was losing the like right side, winning the left side, but I knew that was going to shift up because I was like, he's probably going to play Heimdall. Like, I think that's just like the crux of every move deck is you have to assume Heimdall or Magneto turn 6. And for whatever reason, I was like, I have Enchantress. I could just, like, that will, one, kill Enchantress. So this was like a turn 6 play. I was like, that'll kill Enchantress. It'll kill armor, but it'll also kill whatever he has there. And he might pile enough stuff there where it's like worth it. And it just ended up happening that way. Yeah. Like I Enchantressed it, and then at the end of like the turn, everything there died. And he was just like too weak on the right side, didn't have enough stuff on the left side anymore.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice. Love it.
Rickety Bridge.
I mean, I didn't like it, but Rickety Bridge did let me get to Infinite this season. I was like, all right, easy. Play on going again, baby.
Oh, I loved it because like Rickety Bridge is just another version of like Death's Domain where you could just drop like Electro there. And it's like if they never play anything there, then you have that location one.
I win.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those locations where you have to play something there turn 6, because if there's nothing there, if you don't have a card there and you don't play anything there turn 6, your opponent just gets a free location. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not. Nobody gets it. Yeah, no, it was a good time. Anyways, sorry, boom, did another Marvel Snap, super easy Marvel Snap there. So yeah, dude, so quick. But all right, that is the not elevation, but whatever, the whole terrain marker change. So again, like I said, we'll keep you guys up to date here on the podcast when the next articles start coming out. Let's go ahead. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so let's jump into a generic gallery.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
I'll try to be a little quick since we did spend a lot of time talking about a lot of non-Heroclix related stuff earlier in this episode. So the keyword is cosmic. Out there in outer space, looking at the beauty and wonder of the universe and all the stars and whatnot. What fun cosmic stuff have we built for you guys? I am in charge of hidden gems this week. And my team is the 300 Modern Cosmic team. Now, there's a reason this is on the Hidden Gems build and not the Value Corner builds, because this one would hurt your wallets to get some of the pieces for this. The Hidden Gem itself shouldn't hurt your wallet, but then the other things on this team to like make the team pop off the way it does certainly might. So I'll save my Hidden Gem piece for I'm gonna hit it up first. So a hidden gem, and this is mostly because of Batman team up and all the rings and constructs, is that people are trying to figure out, oh man, I know I was trying to figure this out, who is the cheapest chainsaw dropper? And looking at the set, I was like, everybody was so hyped. We were all hyped for like Chip, because Chip was the cheapest person that could make a construct at the time. But the fact that the rings can also give you the ability to make a construct, and then if you already have a keyword, share a keyword with the ring, it's free to equip the ring. You just get it for free. And then also it's free to generate the construct. That changes things a lot. So the new cheapest construct dropper is from Wonder Woman 80th Anniversary 040. It's Star Sapphire at her 25-point line. She's technically, I guess, the same level of cheap, quote-unquote, construct dropper that the Batman Prime is, but she, number one, does not fill up your Prime slot. Number two, does not cost $150 plus, Yeah. She is a rare that I guarantee you can get for under $10, even after the realization that
the GL and Batman, the Green Lantern Batman stands for good luck.
Yeah, dude, good luck. Even though, I don't know if you watched Ian's unboxing, wow, what the most stacked case I've almost ever seen ever in my entire life, with all the rings plus GL Batman. Good job, Ian. Gosh, wow. But yeah, seriously, good luck trying to get one of those Batmen. He is a hot commodity. He's also on this team, sadly, but he is a hot commodity. But Star Sapphire, though, if you want to build her, not on a Cosmic team built today, but on a Herald team or in Justice League, I think those are both really solid keywords. I think Cosmic is also a really solid keyword. Mostly I really like her on a Herald team for sure, because it's more constructs you get to drop. But she's very simple. She's sidestep TK barrier, which is already really good for 25 points. She has the Justice League team ability. She has 6 range. And then she also has the whole sideline active. This is better nowadays, but because of the lack of captains and sidekicks, it's not technically as good, but they'll modify their attack when targeting the Green Lantern Corps keyword. So maybe it could fit depending on your venue, but we're not really playing her for that. We're literally just playing her for the fact that she is the cheapest character with the Star Sapphires keyword. She can get the ring for free, and she can go ahead and drop a little 10 attack Flurry Blades chainsaw for free, which is awesome. And it's great that she has sidestep TK barrier as well, which gives her a ton of utility outside of that. But this just really makes her an insane 25-point figure. So keeping that in mind, that's how we're building the team. My favorite kind of team is a Alpha Strike drop-off type team, so that is what we are building. So she is one of our attackers that she can run up, be carried by who? That's right, the Flash. And you're like, Kalder, he's not Cosmic. I'm like, don't worry. The majority of this team is Cosmic. There are only 2 characters that aren't. Yes, we're going to be using a Chase to cheat Cosmic with Future and Past. Doom, the Annihilating Conqueror, is on this team.
Heck yeah.
He's just really here for keyword cheating. You could also switch. I would recommend Rearm Doom is not a terrible idea to do, since you're going to be dropping 2 chainsaws. You can drop 3 chainsaws technically with this build, but if you don't want to drop 3, you just want to drop 2.
Defense value by potentially 3.
Yeah. Yep. So there's plenty of Dooms you can swap into, but we're starting with Annihilating Conqueror to make a theme team. We have Star Sapphire. She's going to drop one of our chainsaws on our Alpha Strike. We have Flash, who's going to copy. I already mentioned that Green Lantern Batman is on the team, so he's literally just there to copy the Green Lantern team ability. He's the cheapest point-wise Green Lantern that has the actual Green Lantern team ability, since sadly it was going to be him or it was going to be Alan Scott, since Alan Scott has Green Lantern keyword, but he doesn't have the team ability, so we couldn't put Alan Scott on the team because we want to copy the Green Lantern team ability. Flash is also giving us leadership, which is cool. The biggest thing is that he can charge twice, and he can also now carry 8 people. He can charge for 7 twice, which is a 14 square reach, which will be 16 squares, right? And you can drop people into the 17th square, and then they can sidestep out to the 19th square, and then they can drop a chainsaw in the 20th square, which can punch the 21st square. Isn't that fun? And then any perplexes that you give to Flash's speed are obviously half, and then whatever it's replaced and modify, so that all stacks. So he can pretty much reach the map at +3 perplex, which is really cool. And you can also make an attack afterwards. So like that's neat. So that's the Flash. He's our big taxi. Green Lantern Batman, literally just there to give out the Green Lantern core keyword. He does a ton of other stuff. We're not going to get into him. There's a reason people think he's good. I don't think he's all that. But in this team, he is necessary for the Green Lantern team ability. We have Saint Walker. I love Saint Walker. I think he's a beast. I think he's a baller. He has Empower, which isn't great for our constructs technically, but it's still solid. He also can just get the Blue Lantern ring for free. He's also one of the cheapest chainsaw droppers at 30 points himself. He can drop a chainsaw, drop any construct that we want to attack with, of course, but chainsaw being the coolest one, obviously. He can also make all of our attack rolls of 11 or higher when he's at 30 points, critical hits. That's just something that's a little extra, something a little helpful, a little extra, I like it. We had some points left over, and she is a cosmic figure and also has Perplex to help with the Flash's speed value. So we threw Mantis on the team for 25 points. Again, really just there for cosmic Perplex. And if you wanted to, I guess Flash could eventually copy her Guardians, which is something you can do. It's not anything crazy, but you can. She can also remove action tokens with her Rally Dice. So that is solid. But again, it's mostly for either perplexing up Flash's speed. That way we can get that extra +2 squares of movement, or flexing down the defense of someone who we're going to be throwing all our chainsaws at, which is really helpful. Also, to help the defense go down, we have the emotional modifier. You can throw that on Flash, or you can throw it on this addition to the team, because you're like, oh, Call, that's only 250 points. You're right, sorry. Because he has the past keyword, and he's fitting on this Alpha Strike team, and we can make it a theme team, we've got our boy, Captain America, the Legacy Captain America from Empire, because he just has free make a close attack, and he'll be an 11 for 5 with his close combat expert combined with St. Walker's Empower. And since actually he'll be more than that, he'll be a 12 for 5 because St. Walker will give a +1 attack because he has the Blue Lantern ring and he already has Empower. So this Cap will be punching super hard, which is really gnarly. So with this team, it's a theme team. You fly all the way across the map. You have 4 actions. So one action is Flash punching. Flash will, pick up the Empower and everything from what's-his-face. So he'll be a 13 for 4, punching someone for the first opening attack. Then you can have the follow-ups happen in any order you want. You'll be able to get 3 chainsaws off. Yep, 3 chainsaws off after that, and then a free action Captain America punch after that. So you could use St. Walker's Chainsaw, boom, Star Sapphire's Chainsaw, boom, Batman's Chainsaw, boom, and then the Captain America punch for free. So that's the team. That's the Alpha Strike build. You get to make 2, 4, 6. You get to make 8 attacks from almost totally across the map. And then somewhere in there, whatever Doom you swap to can go do something after your initial volley, which is just cool.
And then I guess Doom can do something.
Yeah, then I guess Doom. Doom is also there, I suppose. His
famous line from the comics, I guess I'll also do something.
Yeah.
You didn't need me, but I'm here.
Yeah, he's kind of stupid. He's literally just there to make it happen. Make it a theme team.
Yeah.
So there's also ways to play this off theme, but this is just a really fun Alpha Strike team. Utilizing a lot of stuff. Oh gosh, I didn't even mention him. Molecule Man is also here. There's everything on this. can then whatever, you know what Molly's talking. He's got out barrier, special smoke lab barrier, and all this other stuff. That is the team, though. I think it's really fun. I think it's a great Alpha Strike team. I think it could hold its own in competitive. Honestly, I think it maybe makes just enough attacks and goes just far enough across the board that it should be able to hold its own pretty darn well in competitive. I would hope to think. So
yeah. I think
fun.
like personally, I'm a big believer that Alpha Strike teams like always have a place in like the competitive scene. Like I don't know. I think there's janky teams, there's like turtle teams, you know, whatever. But if you have a team that can get across the map and then just punish your opponent for not moving, it's definitely also just like take your opponent by surprise. It's like something that you always have to have a plan for when building as well, competitively at least. You always have to be like, all right, if by turn 2 they are punching me, what is my formation? Right. What am I doing? Yep. Do I have barrier? Like, do I have any way to not completely lose? It's definitely something that you have to think about. And I think like the Wrecker drop-off team definitely
awesome.
Proved that in several tournaments. And like that's not even like the first, you know, obviously like Sam Cap. Like,
exactly.
Like there's a lot of drop-off kind of things. All right, for my generic gallery cosmic keyword, I went with a 400-point cosmic theme, obviously, but 400-point silver more specifically. So the crux of this theme, I was just kind of like scrolling, and this is how I build in general, is I was just scrolling through cosmic, and I saw Mistress Death, and I went, yes, good, Mistress Death. Perfect, exactly what I wanted. So Mistress Death does one big thing. She has a 12 attack, pulse wave, 10 range. Yes, she has terrible values after that, and like even on that click, she's got 2 damage is her highest damage printed value. She drops down to a 1. She does a thing where when another standard character is KO'd, you remove an action token from her, and then also when she would be KO'd, if there's another friendly character on the map, you may instead place her in your starting area on click 3 with 2 action tokens, and the opponent scores her. That's rough. It's actually really rough. Like if you're playing competitively, your opponent can just kind of farm Mistress Death KOs and easily get 400 points or 500 if you're playing a 400-point game, I guess. But it does keep her from dying at least once. Like, you know, you're not gonna be completely out of the game ever. She does have power cosmic. She does have some outwit bottom dial. She does have shape change top dial. So there's a chance this will work. Her other trait out of her 3 traits is Touch of Death. When Mistress Death hits with a close attack, immediately place a Touch of Death token on the target character or on the target's card if it doesn't already have one. For the rest of the game, when a character with a Touch of Death token is dealt damage by an attack, double the damage dealt. So yes, she only has 2 damage, but as soon as she touches somebody with a close attack, she's dealing 4 because it's doubling it. This is literally the only character I can think of that says double the damage dealt, and it's just so cool. It's bonkers, like the ways that you can use the Mistress Death. I don't think she always pops off, but I do think that we're going to try here. So next up, to make Mistress Death a little bit more agile, because all she's got is 10 speed phasing top dial, we are adding the Avengers Infinity 047 Tigra. So this is the chase. Obviously, this isn't like a super budget build, but I do think that this chase specifically is probably only like $15, $20 now. Most of the AI chases have dropped quite a bit. This Tigra, what was it? I don't remember what the name of these, like the Cosmic Avenger chases were called. But this specific one has the 3rd virtue of life, tenacity. Flurry, once per turn when Tigra's attack roll has a 3, after resolutions, friendly characters can use charge and Blades Claw's Fangs this turn. So being able to give Mistress Death a 10 speed charge, letting her like run 5 squares, pretty solid. And then also rolling blades when you have a 2 printed, very solid. So that's what Tiger's on here for. She also has, she can't be the target of an attack with more than 1 target, and then she also has Stop Mastermind with Power Cosmic. It is a very good way to just, I don't know. I played this Tigra a lot when she was modern because she has Empower her whole dial. She has that whole Cosmic Entity trait where she can't be targeted if it's
by
target attack.
Yeah.
Like all the chases were like that. A lot of the Cosmic 2x2s from that set were like that. And then her Stop Mastermind also just keeps her from, like, they have to single target her, and if she has someone she can Mastermind to, it's just impossible for them to basically take her out on that click unless they have like some sort of mind control thing. Next up, also from the Avengers Infinity set, this is entirely just to, like, we're doing a lot of this just to get Mistress Death out there. So this is the 2x2 super rare number 022 Infinity at 75 points.
Oh, you're gonna say Jakar. I was like, oh, we're gonna be
Triple
TKing a lot, huh?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. All right.
No, so this is another figure I played a lot of when she was modern and still play to this day because she does some things that no one else does. She has a single trait, or she has two traits. She has the Cosmic Entity trait, which is the same as Tigra's. She can't be the target of an attack with more than one target. So if the two of them stick together, then that's a great little combo. She also has a trait that is you can't kill the abstract. Infinity. Other friendly characters modify speed and range +1, and opposing characters modify speed and range -1. When Infinity is KO'd, this effect continues the rest of the game. So Mistress Death is no longer potentially charging 5 squares, she's charging 6, which is pretty cool. Tigra also has phasing top dial, which isn't great, but it is a phasing 12. More so, I've just found that this is like a great way to hinder your opponents, like keep them from getting exactly where they want. Obviously, a few perplexes can outdo this, but it is a fun thing. The biggest thing that she does, though, in my opinion, is she does have 12 range, double target, and outwit. So there's also just that 10 attack with 3 damage. She's not a slouch in that department, but her special speed power is phasing teleport, sidestep. Adjacent friendly characters have free. Place this character in another square adjacent to Infinity. So if Infinity, like if you're in your starting area, let's say you're in square 2, and Infinity sidesteps like 2 squares in front of Mistress Death, and then Mistress Death does free, place this character in another square adjacent to Infinity. Infinity is going to be in square 4, is her furthest out, and Mistress Death will suddenly get free placed into square 5. That's 3 squares that she's moving as a free action, which is just solid. That's something I always loved about this character. It works really well with 2x2s, especially because you can't TK them, and so that's the main reason I always played this. But next up, to get Mistress Death, one more thing. Well, this is more so to get Tigra to pop off, but to get to Mistress Death, the ability to charge. One more thing is we've got from the Resistance is Futile set, we have the super rare Q, not the Prime. This is the 50-point normal Q Continuum Napoleon stylized one. He's got a lot of things, but basically he's got Mastermind, Super Senses, Probability Control, Shape Change, and then he, at the beginning of your turn, if you don't have a d6 on his card, you roll a d6 and place it on his card, and when a character within 8 squares of him, actually it'd be 7 squares of him, or no, sorry, it would be 9 squares because he has a printed 8. Infinity gives him a +1. So when a character within 9 squares of him rolls an attack roll or rolls for super senses, you may remove the d6 from the card and replace the die roll with it. So this is on the off chance that you roll poorly and you have a 3 on the card, you instantly have a loaded charge with Tigra's Flurry. You just replace one of the dies in her roll. She doesn't even need to hit. That's not even your goal. Your goal is to get Mistress Death, Touch of Death in people. Q also has a 10 for 3 with what will be a 9 range triple lightning bolt and incap, which is just solid. So what do you do once you get these Touch of Deaths? Well, hopefully if you get 1 or 2 out, Mistress Death hitting a few people, maybe bladesing a few people, it won't take a lot to clean up because like I said, Tigra has blades. She also has Empower, so anyone doing close attacks will have a +1 damage. Infinity and Q are both doing 3 damage with very high range values. But you really need a solid attacker. And so because I didn't have anything from the DC universe on this build yet, and I wanted to keep it somewhat silverish, I went with the Wizkids 2019 Lobo at 125 points. So Lobo is just really hard to kill. He also works incredibly good with Q or any kind of die replacers because he has a single stop click. So I'm playing him at half point value. He starts with charge super strength, flight, 19 defense with impervious, and 4 damage. His last click is a 9 speed charge with an 11 for 3 with exploit and a 14 defense. Only a 14, you say? Yes, but it is a stop click with toughness. But also, Lobo takes no damage from attacks unless the attack roll is a 7. Attacks targeting Lobo can't be re-rolled. So you can't re-roll it, you can't prob it, but you can die replace it. So if you have any die that can shove off, if they roll a 6 and if they roll a 6 and a 1, and you have a 6 and you give them a crit hit, that's fine, because Lobo takes no damage from crit hits. He only takes damage from 7s. It's pretty awesome. I've played this character a few times. I really like this Lobo. Sometimes your opponent gets real lucky and they just instantly roll a 7. Sometimes they never roll a 7. They will try over and over and over again and just never get a 7. He also has the Sick'em Dog trait, which is he begins the game with Dog attached when he clears exactly 1 action token, or when Dog hits an opposing character with an attack, you heal him 1, so you can heal off of that stop click. And then free, place an attached dog adjacent, or attach an adjacent dog. And then Dog's got blades too. So got a really solid, I think, with Lobo, a really solid close attacker. He's got a 10 speed, which would normally be a 5 speed charge, but with Infinity on there, it's a 6 square charge, which isn't nothing. It's definitely something, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my Silver Age team.
All right, sweet. I dig it. So, guys, just recap. Go ahead, pick yourself up a Lady Death, your value corner. What is she going for, by the way?
Oh, Mistress. So I didn't actually put my value corner.
That's right. Sorry,
yeah.
I just thought you was.
Because
what was your value corner?
This team is a little spendy with being mostly super rares, convention exclusives. Actually, it's all super rares, convention exclusive, and a chase. So my value corner piece is actually from the Batman team up set. It is a cosmic piece, and it could be played in place of Lobo. So I'll go over its stats real quick. Granted, it's from the newest set. This is an uncommon. It's 100 points. It's got cosmic energy. It's got 6 range, 1 lightning bolt. It has the flight as a special speed symbol. Hypersonic top dial with an 11 attack, 3 damage, with range combat expert, and an 18 defense with invincible. You might know who this is.
I know exactly who this is. But it's a brand new set, and I just played BRs. Blackfire.
It's Blackfire, yeah. So she's got free choose an opposing character within a range and line of fire until your next turn. The character's combat values can't be positively modified, which is also just bonus. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like Outsiders, not quite as versatile as Outsiders, but at the same time, it is. It's, a lot of times when I'm using Outsiders, I'm using it to keep people from using combat reflexes or ESD or whatever, and this keeps them from doing that. And so pretty solid. It would free up 25 extra points on the team. I'd obviously be replacing Lobo with Blackfire here, and you don't lose too much because she would be a 9 speed hypersonic instead of Lobo's 6 square charge. So you actually
there you go.
You could actually hypersonic 9 squares with a, let's see, it'd be down to 3 and then up to 4. So an effective range of 13 squares with this team, with this mostly with just Infinity boosting her stats. And she'd be a 12 for 4 on that. So, but yeah, she also has a lower point value, which I don't have in front of me, but
I think it's like 50.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
it's
straight up
50 points. Still hypersonic, no range combat expert. So she's 7 speed hypersonic, 10 for 3 with a 17 defense invincible. Again, cosmic energy. So she's got willpower rolls, can't be outwitted, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is a very economical piece to add to the cosmic kind of builds. But yeah, knowing that it's knowing exactly what it is because of the BRs, what do you think this is?
Sadly,
this figure's going for?
Uncommon. What are the prices? Got to be like $2-3 or something right now because it's so new. Is she kind of like?
Some of them are. They're
Yeah,
like right around there. There's a few that like were sadly way too high, in my opinion. But Blackfire, not being unique or anything like that, she's only going for 99 cents right now.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
A very economical little piece to pick up, especially if you don't mind the bobblehead edition of Blackfire.
Yeah. Okay, no, all for it. So nice. I know it's kind of give or take when it comes to new sets. Some people like to have their prices, but if I'm buying from Stuff Inc. and just picking up a single 99 cents for a common or uncommon, it's like solid little order filler right there. Boom.
Especially
toss it in
if
the
you're
cart.
close to that $100 mark and you just need to add a few things that
Yeah.
you haven't already got. If you're not buying, honestly, if you're not buying a brick or a case, like you're not getting a full CUR of this set, I do encourage you to at least pick up a few of the Titans because I think that they're a really fun team to run. Like I've ran them a few times and I think that they just work extremely well. If you're not a fan of like the style, like the sculpt style, then I get it. But despite that, I still think they are an extremely fun team to run, and they're mostly all common, uncommon, rare. I think that the R is only the main Titan guy, Cyborg, is super rare. The one that people like.
Yeah, the one that's like might see some fringe meta play. Yeah, I see it. Well, right on. So the value corner, Blackfire and the Gem Star Sapphire. Pick up these figures. Let us know what you guys think. Playing them. All right, that'll do us for generic gallery. Man, that is so fun. We should do that more. Insert this 5 months later when we
Get around to it again.
when we actually do it. But all right, let's go ahead. Finish the show off with some listener questions.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Crank through some listener questions here on Facebook before we jump into Patreon exclusive Discord listener questions. Whoa! So, question on Facebook here. We got some best, worst favorites for objects and relics of all time. So, best, worst, favorite objects, relics of all time. Simeon. One
Best.
each. Just one each.
Oh, just do the best?
Oh, no. I
Oh,
mean,
just one for-
one,
okay.
one for each category. Yeah,
Best, I said Power Gem. Worst, I said the OG Mjolnir. And people might be mad about that, but it was a succeed only on a 6. And then my favorite is the OG Ock Arms, which gave you triple lightning bolt, I think it was +1 lightning bolt. I don't remember. It gave you extra lightning bolts and perplex with like 4 range.
I said best object was the Omega Drive from the Dead.
Oh yeah.
Worst, I gave it to Silvermane's head. I don't even know what it does, but all I know is you got to play Silvermane, and he's got to like die, and then you get
then you
the
get it,
object. Yeah.
They gave us
my
a cardboard
favorite
cutout for that for some reason.
They even gave us gave us a little cutout and stuff, and I was like, oh, you can't play not without Silvermane. And then my favorite is Venom Pump. I got a lot of good memories of Venom Pump.
Yeah.
I love me some Venom Pump guy. Next up, best, worst, favorite objects. This time, it's only in modern.
All right. Only in modern. Best, I put the Cloak of Levitation. Worst, I said the Tesseract. I just think phasing, and if you power action phase, then you get prob. I just don't think that's worth the 10 points. I think it is. I think it's 10 points. And then my favorite is the Muramasa Blade, simply because of comic reasons. Also, it's one of the better swords, to be honest.
So I said best was the emo mod, the emotional modifier.
Oh, yeah.
But I think both are comparable, honestly. Worst, I actually said the Super Soldier Serum because I was thinking about like the Green Lantern ring and how they do the exact same thing,
but
for
less.
5 points
Yeah.
more. Like, the ring will let you.
Yeah,
like, a
Super Soldier
construct.
Serum did get.
But I
super
also
shattered.
forgot that the Tesseract exists. I don't know. Maybe that is just kind of worse. And then my favorite is the Captain Carter shield. I still really dig it. So yeah. Number 3 is best, worst, and favorite constructs, both in modern and all time. Obviously, the old constructs do a wildly different thing than what the modern constructs do. But just give us your best, worst, favorite constructs of all time here, Simeon.
Yeah, I said best is the red chainsaw, the Wonder Woman one, because that's got the 11 attack. Worst, I said the War of Light net. I don't even remember what it does, but it was bad. I remember no one ever used it, to my knowledge. And then my favorite is just all the chainsaws. I just think they're hilarious. The Wonder Woman one, and then all the new ones. It doesn't matter the color or anything. I just think a chainsaw that's like pops out and is flurry blading somebody. It's pretty funny.
I basically said very similar things. I said best is the red chainsaw, I guess, specifically from Wonder Woman. Spotlight is the worst. I kept it to all new ones because I couldn't remember at all what old ones did. Besides, like, Decoy is shape change. The
Yeah.
nurse is support. You know?
I remember all the ones that were good. I had to look up to see which one I never
Right.
used. I was like, I know.
I
did
know
use
there
some
was
of these.
like the mallet, but I never used it because it was like a prime green object. You know, like he came with Zabin Zalamosk or something like that before they made like the construct gravity feed, which was a great idea, by the way. My favorite is the red saw, of course. So yeah, best red saw, favorite red saw, worst all spotlights, I guess. But also, I just couldn't think of like some of the older constructs. Maybe you could throw out.
Hey, the
best,
old Spotlight did what the new Spotlight should have done, and that was gave. So like obviously the old ones
Give
were
you
like
improved
assigned to
targeting,
someone.
right?
Yeah,
Hindering
let you
terrain?
see through hindering. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd have been great. That'd have been awesome.
so good. Yeah, Instead of just
Technically,
having
this
a
construct
bystander that does
does
it.
have seized for hindering to
Yeah.
target its person with its special ability. All right, next up, we have objects and constructs have gotten an update since we asked these questions last time. So, what do you think about this change update for rules for objects and constructs?
I think that the object change I thought was like it changed a lot of things for the better. Obviously, it's only been a little while, but I think that like the latest update, the Batman Team Up update, is a lot better, a lot faster of gameplay, and it's a little bit more thematic. And then the constructs, I don't know. I'm a little torn because at first I was thinking like, obviously it makes more sense that the constructs can like attack on their own because that's what they do. But then at the same time, I'm like, it also made sense like the assigning a construct and like it giving the
Right.
character that power because like Jon Stewart having the crossbow, which gave him ranged combat expert, and then him using it to like shoot better, is essentially the same as him making something that can shoot on its own. But I don't know. Yeah, I think,
I would say
I think the newer ones are better, just slightly, but I don't know which one's more thematic in my opinion.
in a streamlined way, they're better because the old ones were really clunky to have to do a power action, or maybe it was a free action if it was 3 points less or
Yeah.
3 points more, but you can never go above 10 points. I think that was the most expensive. You know what I mean? Like the old construct ability was really like difficult to pull off versus a free action if you're a lantern, or it's a power action if you're not a lantern.
Yeah,
Like,
hang
or-
on, you're using the yellow side, but you're not running the resource. You can't use the yellow side.
Yeah,
You gotta flip it over.
Yep. Hey, turn that card over, baby. Yeah. So, like, there was a lot more complicated things with the resources and with the construct trait. I think this is just a lot easier to understand. Same thing with objects. Again, we've streamlined it completely. We got rid of the object dance, as dubbed by a few people. And now it's just boom, you start equipped. I like the way that changed. The fundamental changes to an object has happened. And objects really haven't changed much since 2017, besides this fundamental change, and then also the giving of keywords to allow them to be free for someone that has a keyword. So like that, I think, is also just a great change. especially from the days of Relics, where you would waste turns not picking it up, and it was awful. And it's like all that character has done is been given actions for Relic rolls the entire game.
I TK'd him out and then took 2 turns to try and equip that.
Yep. Like, that's not fun. That's not cool. So I think, I mean, yeah. So that's at least way easier now. So I like the changes they've made so far. I do. Now I'm kind of with you on objects. It made more sense that boxing glove wasn't punching somebody, but somebody was wearing the boxing glove. It gave them a power punching someone with it. That does make more sense. But in sometimes I would see other people make constructs of like a gun and it would shoot like a toy soldier or something construct or like whatever. But a lot of times, yeah, lanterns do just make a weapon with the construct and then they use said weapon themselves. So I can kind of see it both ways. And yeah. Next up, what suggestions would you make to Wizkids for objects and constructs for future sets?
So I don't have a ton of suggestions, but
yeah,
one of the gripes I did see like thereabouts for like these constructs was there weren't any exclusive ones for like the red or green, or there wasn't like honestly, to be honest, I think the red lanterns are the only ones that make sense for the chainsaw. Maybe red and green, because I have seen like green lanterns use it and stuff like that, but like it doesn't really make sense for like the blue lanterns or like the purple lanterns to use chainsaws as constructs. They're more like stop sign and spotlight, that kind of like thing. So more exclusive ones where like maybe the red lanterns get like a bear trap or a baseball bat, and then like the green lantern gets like a sniper rifle or the decoy, like some of like the older stuff that we've used, maybe some newer stuff, and then more core members, more lantern core members. We don't have enough to really like flesh out a lot of like the themes that we could do.
Definitely
outside of like Herald, and then
it's true.
I don't know if this is too far. I think this one's a little too good-ish, but somewhere like in there, like a slash ability where it's an ability to like KO for free, like for free KO with a construct that wasn't like generated this turn, so that you could like KO one of your constructs and then generate a new one this turn. Or a free action to like replace it with another construct. I think that might be too good, because then you could just keep swapping back between like stop sign chainsaw, like something like that. But I do think the ability to KO one without having to like move it away 6 squares or whatever would be thematic. Like obviously Green Lanterns are just like, oh, I made this airplane that I was going to fly around in, and they're like, how? Why is that airplane still here? And he's like, I just haven't moved far enough away, It's just going to stay there until until I leave the city.
Well, you didn't make anything else? Like, well, no, I can't.
Nah, I already made that plane. It takes a lot of energy to keep that plane there.
Yeah.
Like, well, why don't you just make it not be there? I don't know.
I haven't moved far away from it. I'm just, Hal Jordan's just really indifferent the whole time.
Yeah.
Don't just destroy my constructs. They're part of my life being. Jeez. So kind of like to what you said, but I actually had a listener bring this up, a bit of a thematic kind of problem, but this is just how objects work, because objects are all unique. So even if you start the game with an object, you can't give everybody that object, unless, of course, it's the whole sword trait outside the game / gem bearer outside the game. Then you can cheat as many objects as you want on the team. But, and I had somebody point this out to me, if I am running a Green Lantern core team, one of them gets to have the Green Lantern ring, So it's kind of like, oh, neat. So which one of us gets to make an object, One of us does, and then Chip and Hal can go crazy. But for the rest of us, no. Only one of us gets the Green Lantern ring. So I'm like, okay, that is a kind of an interesting deal where it's like, yeah, because objects themselves, that's how they work, So maybe if they went into something where if it's part of the keyword, you could have more than one on the team. But yeah, it is a little odd that maybe if I wanted to run a Red Lantern team now, it's like, well, you got to choose Dexstar or Atrocitus, because only one of them is going to be able to make a construct this game. So that is kind of interesting. And I guess I would like to see that changed going forward, especially if we finally get to fully flesh out these teams. But then it's like, well, not all of them got to make constructs. So really, Herald is just kind of the go-to keyword with lanterns if you want everybody to be making constructs and stuff. It's just to have a Crayola crew, one of each core represented, and then they can all make constructs and like function exactly how you want lanterns to function. Versus, oh, I have a Green Lantern theme team, but only one of them gets the actual ring.
Yeah.
Bummer. So, yeah.
Even though that's like, without the ring, they're just
dude. Yeah. You know, a person.
like,
so
I just showed up. I might as well not even have this suit on because I can't like really do the ring stuff right now. Hal's borrowing it. We only have the one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we'll have to share and take turns with the ring.
Hal gets it today. His ring visiting hours for the day. He has it. And then 5th. Awesome. Which Heroclix objects or constructs do you want to see in... Oh, Jesus. 5th one. What objects or constructs do you want to see in future sets? And what kind of sets do you want them to be in?
So
make your own.
I already kind of said it, but for construct, I said a return of the sniper rifle. It's like or at least like a rifle, I guess. Like the sniper rifle is kind of like a John Stewart construct, but it was like big in War of Light. At least I thought so. And then I said potentially like a larger 2x2 construct would be cool. But then I also thought of like an AI or Dark Phoenix like set where they'd have 2x2s and then make some of those 2x2s just like a construct like bystander, and I thought that was also awful. So I kind of scrapped it, but it's still like as like a convention exclusive thing. If there was like a certain lantern that came with like a 2x2, I think that'd be fine.
It's the idea of the 2x construct. Just a big flat base is so funny to me. Big 2x2 bystander as a construct. Like they printed off those Sentinel pogs they made that are 2x2s.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, I could see this for sure. But like a big sculpt 2x2 construct is so funny to me.
All the time in interviews, sculpt it, and then it's
all of that for this. Yeah, yikes. No, so once again, if you say Green Lantern and then you ask me for a set, I will echo the same thing I've said for the past 4 or 5 years now. I want an Avengers Infinity style Green Lantern set. I want Colossals. I do not necessarily want Colossal constructs. Not a bad idea, Simeon.
It's a bad idea for a full set.
A funny idea. It's funny. I will that. I'd be like, this is so ridiculous. It's funny that it exists. I'll play them and I'll own them all. I don't know exactly how. I don't say I'll hate it.
As tears stream down your face from pulling.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
You're like, I could have pulled.
If that was your super booster item, I mean, like that's what I got out of my super booster. I could have pulled the super rare,
like Kyle Mechazoid thing, but instead I got dump truck.
It's still, oh god,
I got green dump truck.
Yeah, green.
Not even the good
truck,
red dump truck.
No, no. Yeah, that's been my dream set for literally forever. A made up set in my brain. Green Lanterns. You have Guy Gardner in his monster truck or his like Charger vehicle. You have Hal Jordan in his airplane. You have John Stewart with like a crane. You have Al Rayner in his funny little anime mech, little weeaboo man. I don't know. Simon Baz likes guns. He's just on a giant gun. I have no idea what big construct Simon Baz could have, but there's something. But yeah, literally, and there's a member of the Sinestro Corps who is like a giant, like he's just a giant person. I can't remember if he can change size, but in a lot of panels, he's just big. So like, boom, there's him finally made. I forget his name, but he exists, you know. And then you could do the left quarter of Mogo and maybe just do each little section of Mogo, and you put them together. Again. You bring back Constructiclix, and we have Mogo, the living Green Lantern, as a figure. Beautiful. Yeah, no, I really, really, really want a 2x2 set style like that for Green Lanterns, for Lantern Corps as a whole. It'd be so awesome. It would literally be so awesome. It'd be a perfect set. Money was telling you. DC. Let me convince the people at DC to let you make the set. I'll do it. I'll be on the phone with them all day, which I'm sure would be painful. And they'll be like, we actually don't know if we can even say the name Green Lantern. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. Who knows with DC anymore?
wouldn't be.
But
You'd be blown away if you knew what Ryan Reynolds was up to right now. We're kind of stepping back from Green Lanterns.
yeah,
He's
yikes.
not even part of your universe.
Not even doing anything, man. They ask what objects you would want to see also. So I kind of mentioned the set part, but a big object I would like to see is if we ever revisit Earth X, it's used a lot in Paradise. That is ROM Space Knight's unblaster thing. Captain America uses it a lot in the second part of Earth X, and it's really cool. And then also they use Cloak's cloak a lot. Because somebody else picks it up. It would be cool to see Cloak's cloak as an movable object with like phasing teleport. Passenger 2, we just be very conservative. We don't hand out no Passenger 4 or anything crazy, but little Passenger 2, little Space Gem action, you know? It's really all I'm saying. You know, maybe a free phase. But like half speed or something.
Free phase, but only to carry one.
Only carry one person. Yeah, something kind of neat. Because then, you know, it's like, boom, it's like daggers popping out with. Maybe it should just carry one. Nah, Cloak carries a ton of people at once, so.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But mostly, yeah, but free phase for one, because it's just him and Dagger. Yeah, I think that's thematic, you know? So that'd be a cool object, in my opinion. Yeah. Number 7, which Heroclix objects or constructs do you want to see get a legacy card? So with this idea, we could make the old constructs work as if they were the new constructs. That should be really cool.
That would
so
be.
Like the crossbow is just the cowboy boot now, but it's range combat expert. Maybe it doesn't have the whole knockback thing, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something else.
Just
I don't
like
know.
Pops out with like 4 or 5 range and range combat expert, like 10 for 2 or 10 for
I would
3
say
if they're getting crazy.
Nurse probably makes the most sense. Or I like the idea of the decoy maybe gives adjacent people mastermind and says you can mastermind to this construct, even though the construct rules say you can't. But that'd be really cool for the decoy out mastermind and then let you mastermind to
gives like adjacent's mastermind, but only to target this character. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then obviously Nurse could just literally have support and some attack values or something. And then boom, that's how you bring the Nurse into mod. Like I think there's a way to actually do it with some of the older constructs for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
You want to talk about a character that's like doing something, right? Like if I made a Nurse, I assume she's doing the healing bit, I guess.
you would think so. Like she's not. I mean, I guess she could draw fire. She could also decoy a bit. I don't know what they do with their constructs.
The Nurse's ability is also just on your own imagination. Guy Gardner's Nurse didn't actually make it through college or whatever, so she's like, okay, you know, she's like, all right, yeah.
He's like, I made this Nurse, but it's not fixing
nurse.
me. It's like,
really
well, it can
good.
only do what you will it to do, and like you don't know how to render
don't know
first
anything.
aid.
Yeah, dude, you don't know. Jon Stewart's Nurse, she's like great. She's like medical, like Marine Nurse or something. From what he's seen in the field, I don't know.
What's the saying? Do constructs dream of construct sheep or whatever? I don't know. The old
Electric.
Yeah, the old do androids dream of electric sheep thing.
Electric sheep, yeah.
At what point do we give these constructs a soul?
Sentience?
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah, do they know?
Don't you dare move 6 squares away from that construct.
Oh god, that'd be so
It
sad.
has rights.
That's like an entire. That's literally like an entire like YouTube animated video where at the end the guy steps away and it's like, oh no, the entire life I lived with my construct wife and she's dead or something. Something weird.
Definitely not as bad as whatever Jamie Madrox has done in his life with his.
That's
dupes,
probably
so.
true.
That's some real deep dive theology stuff. Do dupes have souls? Because clearly, it's like
they had to answer
split.
that question.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So objects, I went with some older objects, so like the OG Mjolnir, or just like the newer one. I liked both, but I just think Mjolnir's a really cool object, and I think I liked what they did with the exospecs, where it was like you had to be above a certain point value to be able to equip it, which the point value was kind of low, so I didn't really understand why exactly that point value, but I think Mjolnir, if it was somebody... You had to be like over 100 points to be able to equip it, to be worthy. I think that'd be kind of cool. Also, I liked the Macran crystal as far as relics go. That was one that I played a few times. It was kind of like a stop click, but it was like the first time this character would be KO'd. Instead, turn them to their last click and then heal them like 1 or something. And then the Deadpool straitjacket. I think that's one that'd be fun to come back. It basically gives you like Battle Fury. You can't make anything but a close attack, and it does no damage. It just transfers the straitjacket to the next person. So you could start somebody with the straitjacket, or like equip the straitjacket yourself, and then you hit somebody, and it gave them the straitjacket. So you could give their heavy hitter a straitjacket, and then they were just like nerfed for a few turns, possibly.
Yeah,
I liked that.
I did. I always liked playing the straitjacket. Those were really fun. Cool. They were just like unique relics. Number 8. Which objects / relics and or / constructs are overrated or underrated? Heroclix. Massive underrated to the Venom Pump. I never saw people. I mean, favorite of mine. I never saw people use the Venom Pump all that often. I think they were too scared of that one penetrating damage they might take for using that bad boy. But I never saw people use it that often. It was like I played the heck out of it. You know, I would also say underrated. You know, the mallet from OG constructs, again, probably because of its rarity, there weren't that many until they made the gravity feed. But mallet, not used a whole bunch. It was like Quake, I think. Quake or Giant Reach or something.
It was a combo of, yeah.
Big, massive, overrated on the wall. No, the wall's properly rated. The wall is so good. Free 2 pieces of blocking terrain. It's for 10 points. This is the same as ranged combat expert. Ari, what? You know, yeah, it was super properly rated. No, that's probably, those are my object hot takes that I can think of. Properly rated. Spotlight, it's bad. You know,
definitely correctly rated. Yeah,
I would say underrated a little bit. The boots. I think the boots are like the second tier construct attacking wise to the chainsaw. I think getting the free
especially with the
knockback
giant
off
size.
is solid. Yeah,
Like,
the giant size.
being able to clear every turn or potentially clear every turn.
Yeah.
You always have like a, like not like a great attacker, but a like secondary attacker. You always have an attacker, and they can waste an action to KO it, but like, are they going to?
Yeah.
I
What do
said
you think, Simeon?
my overrated, I put Exospecs. I think maybe not towards the end, but I know at one point Exospecs was like so highly like sought after and stuff. People were paying like $60 for them. It wasn't bad. Like, obviously, you know, people found uses for them constantly, but no, like at the end of the day, they were at 12 points in like an age where nothing cost like a weird point value. Like, it should have been 10 points like everything else. But also, like, I just think a lot of teams like had it on there when having like another character or having like the correct character would have been fine. There's definitely teams where they utilized it correctly, but then also when Exospecs were at their height, so was like the Cyclops ID card, and so for 3 points I could KO your like 12-point object, and that was like a wonky time. So
It was a massive risk.
it was wild that people were still playing it for a while there. And then underrated, I put the Joker's gas. Joker's gas canister. I wanted to combine all those syllables. Joker's gas canister gave you a +1 attack and damage, gave you Battle Fury essentially, and a -3 to defense, which was rough.
Yeah.
But if you didn't care, if you just like had somebody with like a big attack coming, or if you wanted to do that to your opponent to just make them really easy to hit, like get rid of them for a turn, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was like you had to set that one up though. You had to destroy it.
Yeah,
Right, and they had to be near.
Well,
you had to like blow the gas up on them.
pick it up and use it with like an object attack, and it would be destroyed. Or
right,
you could,
that's true.
you could place it somewhere. If you wanted it on one of your characters, you could place it somewhere and then like shoot it while it was next to it, kind of thing. But yeah,
Number 9, which set had the best objects, relics, or constructs in the history of HeroClix?
I went with A. Like,
That's
if I'm going
tough.
to pick a singular set for objects / relics, I went with ABPI. I think the full set of Infinity Gems +2 gauntlets +2 Cosmic Cubes plus technically the Ego Gem is in there too. I think that was just like the best overall version of those specific objects that we've gotten, and then, well, not counting the resource Infinity Gauntlet. But I think those were the best versions of those as far as objects go, and then also just had them all together in one set. Most sets, like the objects / relics, whatever, outside of like Fear itself, they're not like very. They don't follow like a certain theme. Like they're usually just kind of like, this character's in the set, so here's this object, kind of thing.
Right. God, you're so right though. Like, man, gems are just so freaking, and they defined and whilst they were modern, and then the upswing for power gem, man, back into the forefront, back into the game, baby.
Going from like a level 4 gem that you want to main or like have to like all of a sudden
real low tier. Yep. King. Dude. Damn, it was like, or you went out back, you shot reality gem in the head, and then power gem just soared. Like that rules change was like boom, perplex hit, boom, TK hit. Goodbye power gem, or goodbye reality gem, and then boom, power gem just soars to the top. Like, yeah, dude, that was gnarly. It still blows my mind that set was legal for a while. At the same time, Wonder Woman was legal. Like what? So it completely makes sense, but it's gone now. Thank goodness. It's in silver. But yeah, no, I don't even know. I couldn't even think of a better set. I mean, like Batman Team Up comes close. The fact that it has all these constructs, it has like the great Bat Belt, it has the awesome rings, and it may even be too soon to say on its impact overall for the game. But like,
true,
man, the rings are good. Bat Belt is also really solid. All the constructs, taking something that was like for a couple of people, everybody now.
Well, and the ring, the rings adding special bonuses, like,
yep,
I do like that. I liked how they did that in Disney Plus, and now they're continuing it where like the characters that this should be with probably already have this power, or we're probably going to give them this power, and then if they already have this power, they get bonus version, which is cool. Incentivizes you to use those characters.
Yeah, exactly, and that's such good game design that I love it so much. All right. Number 10, last question. Which Heroes characters are the best to use objects or constructs in Modern? I mean, shout out to my girl, Star Sapphire. We just mentioned her earlier in the show. She's the cheapest, both financially and point-wise, for you to drop a chainsaw. That's not the red chainsaw, or whatever the cost may be. So, boom, shout out to her. Guy and at Dexter are tied for dropping the 11 attack chainsaw at double her point cost. So, just saying, a little 1 point cost goes down. You get a little sidestep flight, dropping a chainsaw, lady. So, I think she's great to give the Star Sapphire ring to. I also enjoyed giving it to Jinx.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of fun. But yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Mystics.
Yeah. I also think Prime for getting equipped is Arachnite. I think he's great. I think Soul Sword makes him dumb. I think Arachnite's an insanely good figure that also is great with equipment. But what do you think? Who's a good figure that's primed for getting some objects or constructs?
A prime figure for objects.
Not necessarily prime, sorry. But
okay.
I meant prime.
Say,
like
Mad
ready
Jim
to use.
Jasper.
I don't. Sorry, Simeon. I get to choose any figure. You have to choose a prime.
Yeah.
Get those gears turning, bro.
No, honestly,
I meant
Mad Jim is the best when it comes to objects. Anyone can have objects, and they can have a variety. So I think that's really, really solid. But outside of that, no. I think any of the, like, especially the Blue Lantern ring. I know Ian's a huge fan of like the Blue Lantern ring and what it like potentially does and how cheap it is. But no, like Moloids. Well, Moloids are not able to do it. But like Marvella, right? She's got enhancement, I think.
Power. So that's perfect for the blue ring. That's what you want for the
empower. So like Marvella is like she's 20 or she's 15 points, 20 points with the ring. No, it's 10 points.
25 points-ish.
Yeah, so 25 points with the ring, but gives people a +1 attack as well as a +1 damage, sidestep flight, and only if she has no action tokens, I guess. But yeah, the fact that she can do that, plus the barrier, plus if you're not barriering for some reason, you can drop a construct. I think all of that's really, really solid. If you're playing her with other lanterns, you could potentially give her the Green Lantern team ability by copying it.
There you go. Oh, gosh.
I mean, she's not getting across the map or anything crazy.
No, she's not, but it's just more fun.
She could sidestep a whole team or sidestep whatever, then drop what's the ESD one? Jeez, the baseball glove, the mitt. Yeah. So I think anything like that, where if they fit the power scaling, if it's like somebody good with mystics and you want to give them the unavoidable stuff for 10 points, I think that's solid. Same with like willpower. Obviously, I think if you're only playing it for that willpower bonus, you might as well play like Super Soldier Serum instead. But yeah, if you have somebody that's got a really good willpower roll effect, and instead you play the Green Lantern ring, you can also like drop a construct if need be. And if you drop like the mitt just to get like that defense bonus, that's pretty solid. Your opponent has to get rid of that.
True. Very true. All right. Well, now we're going to go ahead and jump into our listener questions on Discord. If you want to be able to join our Discord, you have to join our Patreon. We have a lot of cool value on Patreon. We're going to be getting ready to give away some fun figures. Because I pulled like 2 more Winter Hulks. I think I have like in my possession now, and I'm going to be giving those away this month on Patreon, as well as a few other super rares, and honestly probably all of my extras from Avengers Forever. So we do cool stuff on Patreon. We do giveaways. You get access to our Discord, which will give you access to super bits from our audio podcasts. It'll get you access to videos you literally cannot see anywhere else on YouTube unless you follow the link from our Discord. So there's all sorts of great stuff you get by joining our Patreon. Consider joining. $5 a month. I'll get you 5 entries in the monthly giveaway. It'll get you into the Discord. It'll get you to see all this extra content, blooper sods. We're talking, and the Discord is really just a huge part of it. Honestly, it's literally so freaking fun. We have a great community. It's not a dead Discord. If you ask a question, usually we have some pretty smart people have given some answers. We had people ask weird rules questions, and they typically get a correct response. And I know if I see it there, I'll go and I'll ask a judge or something, and I'll try to get back to them. But it's a great avenue. Usually won't be left on red. So we got a great community on Discord, and we got all this cool Dial H content that I think really gives you a bang for your buck if you join our Patreon. You can also get all these cool action tokens and stuff. Haven't made any designs for Batman Team Up yet. They will be coming, though, soon, so be on the lookout for those. But consider joining the Patreon, supporting the podcast, supporting the YouTube channel, and we just love it, guys. So thank you so much. So, Patreon questions from the Discord. Tyler M. asks, just listen to the most recent post. With Dial H wanting to ramp up and build an Omaha community, have you been doing anything at the Omaha Comic-Con? I don't know if this is in reference to BrassCon specifically, or I believe there's another one coming up in like April. It's like Kapai.
Yeah, there's NebCon, and then there's like Comic-Con. I don't know how they.
Oh, is there? Okay.
I don't Omacon. I don't know how they do it.
Omacon.
They do some weird wordplay. Short answer is like I have thought about it. I've thought about opting to see if like I can do like a not necessarily like a panel, but like a booth where we just run like new player games. I've thought about that like a few times. I've never making any attempts to or contacted them because it just seems like a big undertaking. Seems like I'd spend like a whole day there just like politely smiling at people as they like slowly walk by and then just like keep walking. But no, I have thought about it. Definitely be something, maybe we get a billboard for it and we advertise it.
Oh my gosh.
I know a guy who can get a discount on those.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like even the discount is going to take a lot out of the Dial H budget for making and then putting up. No. Oh, okay. It's, you know more about that than I do.
Our monthly budget's, what, $700?
Oh, gosh. Jeez. I wish it was. That would be awesome.
No.
That's just to probably keep it up, not even to pay someone to make this, like, 100-foot thing. I don't know how big are 40 by 50 or something. Massive.
To be fair, like I do
Finals.
have the skill. I could just like in the middle of the night put up like a
Paint?
big tarp and paint it or paint it and then put it up. I guess either way, it is. They'd be like,
It's an option.
"Huh? Who did that?" And then they just slowly look over at me.
Are there not rules to eyesores in the Omaha skyline?
Oh,
That would be
yeah.
a hand painted thing.
Instead of eat more chicken, like with the cows.
Yeah,
it'd be,
no,
like,
I
play
guess
more
no
Heroclix.
kidding. Those don't exactly look pretty, dude. Yeah, that's kind of fair. Now they do giant foreheads with lights around them, I guess. But
But what
There
if
we
you
are.
cut the forehead?
you know, there's
in half?
literally a billboard that says "Better Call Hall."
Yes, I
Like,
put that
did
one
you
up.
set that? Oh, you did. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, this dude literally.
I
thinks
was
he is.
when we were putting. I was like, is this not like? Is he not like stealing the thing?
The direct
Is this
rip-off.
fine? Like he's a lawyer, he should know. But then if you look at like
Got
what he,
to. No.
the cases that he takes, it's like ambulance chasey kind of stuff. It's like been injured,
interesting.
falsely accused, fired.
Oh. He was a little all good man, I guess. Yeah. The
Yeah.
guy. That's enough about the Omaha billboard scene. Yeah, we'd love to go do. I know I've done something at SuperCon before where I've ran a table for a little bit at Heroclix to some people that I've literally never seen again. So that was fun. I don't have the best track record with teaching Heroclix at conventions, but it'd be fun at the very least. Not like a day of literal work teaching new people how to play the game every like hour or so, but I think it'd be good. It's the Lord's work, doing some good work here.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Brad asks, all are handsome with a question mark after it, which I don't, again, I don't know.
You have to say it with like
necessarily-
the Ron Burgundy inflection. Y'all are handsome?
Well, wouldn't the question have been, are all handsome? Wouldn't that have been the way to arrange the words, make it more so a question? I don't know. I'll take the potential compliment.
I mean, Brad's seen us in
guess.
person, so he knows.
No, I mean, no.
He knows what we look like.
Anybody that's seen us knows the answer.
Yeah,
Question.
beauty's in the eye of
Are
the beholder, Brad. So
Well, true. Brad Holder, if you would.
the Brad Holder, yeah. So
The bro
only
holder.
you can choose if you think that we're handsome. No one else can choose that for you.
And then Friendly Neighborhood Rider Man asks, what is the best root beer? The answer is Barks root beer. Simeon can now answer Barks or with his wrong answer.
I will say I've had A&W on tap, and that's pretty good.
That is really good. Okay, A&W at the A&W is pretty
Yeah. I haven't been to an A&W in quite a while, but yeah, any root beer on tap is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I've had quite a few like micro brew root beers. A lot of breweries will also do root beer because it's a surprisingly similar process. You just don't add like yeast to make it ferment. But yeah, A&W would have to be my answer for the best like on tap. Because it's the only on tap I've ever had. The best out of a can, and I don't even know.
a crisp.
You said
Barks
Barks?
root beer. Barks, yeah,
What's
man.
the other like
Gotta
mug?
be. Mug is literally the worst root beer.
Mug
If you
is
like
like-
mug, you like mug.
Nice good glass of mug.
They maybe get edgiest mascot. We need a big old bulldog
Yeah.
who's got a big glass of mug. Like to call it.
No,
I will
I'll
accept-
agree. Barks is solid. You can't go
Yeah,
wrong
dude,
with Barks.
They don't even have to have.
Where are those glass
Last time you've
bottles
seen an
though,
advertisement
that do
dude, Sioux
sarsaparilla?
City
Yeah.
sarsaparilla. I love
Yeah.
those too. Those are really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like that. I like a Sioux sarsaparilla.
Yeah, those are solid.
Yeah. I'd agree. Have you ever had it was like 1818 or 1819 or 1918 or something like that? It's some year.
Yeah,
That's like the name of it.
1902.
those are like,
something. Yeah, I don't know what
something,
they are, but
something
yeah,
like that. But that's their brand.
I can't
They made a
remember it
solid root beer.
because
I remember
had
having
it like
that.
once.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had a bunch either. And then Chance asks, what is your lantern ring ranking? Jeez. I think the blue ring is honestly the best. I'm with Ian on that one. I think giving out 10 points for empower, and then if you already have it, +1 attack is like, boom, number one. I want, because I'm biased, I want to say the red lantern ring, because I like the red lantern ring a lot. Like poison, I like pen
I
poison.
think it's got just hands down the best construct that is like
True,
Evo
right
brought
now,
in.
making the 11 attack saw. Good.
But like it does have like poison is such like a iffy effect if it's gonna like ever actually do anything.
Yeah,
So
true.
unless you have like the ring itself doesn't do a whole lot, but the construct does.
Sinestro is really good too.
Yeah, that one's solid.
Straight up giving out perplex. I think Indigo's the worst because it's just here's support.
Yeah,
Bro.
that one is in a world where we
Orange.
have to roll for support and then roll again for support. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such like also like you can't be adjacent to like opposing characters when doing it. Like there's so many things that support has to like,
Right.
get past where it's just kind of
Maybe plasticity, I guess, is maybe the worst. Like the Orange
That's
Lantern
true.
ring. Its secondary effect is really cool, but
I
just
do
on
like the
basics-
secondary effect, but it's so
plasticity.
only good on like Larfleeze, where it's like I'm not going to look out for a character that's got plasticity. You know, like I'm not going to put it on like Doppelganger so that he can run around, flurry, make people drop stuff. Maybe
Cool,
I do,
you get to
but
steal the equipment, but it's like, oh, dropped my ring now.
Yeah.
Don't have the Orange Lantern ring anymore.
to be fair, it's a bad ring for them to pick up though.
it is. Yeah,
And
it's
they
not
don't
great.
have any.
It's 10 points.
Yeah, if they don't
10
have any
points to be handed
constructs.
to that.
So if they're not playing an Orange Lantern ring and then they pick it up, they literally only get like the plasticity. That's funny. Oh, they could. Yeah, they could just score it.
But it's
though.
it's 10
That's-
points for.
I was thinking they equip it. Like, you fool. You can't
Oh.
make anything.
That would be quite silly if they did. And then the rest somewhere in there. Star Sapphire is probably on the lower end of the rings. I think she.
Yeah. Green Lantern,
think it's whatever.
you know, if it wasn't for the Super Soldier Serum doing a similar thing,
Yeah.
because I think, like, where that excels is having somebody that's, like, already cosmic energy, like a high-costed cosmic energy person starting with it, but you might as well play the Super Soldier Serum because that person's probably doing better damage, better actions than generating a construct. Like, most
Better
likely.
piece.
Not always, but most likely.
Yeah, I think we covered them all. That's more or less a ranking of the rings. Ian Chainsaw asks, if you could design a construct, what would you pick? What powers would you give it? I am all aboard. Oh, go ahead, Simeon.
Oh, I was going to say I'm going to do a Venus flytrap, and I would bring back the
Ooh.
capture ability with it.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
like
right.
it anymore.
0 point capture ability
I don't like
construct.
this.
Drop off capture teams are back.
Ugh. No. I want the double barrel shotgun to go with the chainsaw. Con. Cool. You give it energy explosion knockback. Boom. There you go.
Yeah, I always like the
make
the
2
scissors
attacks.
doing like exploit. Obviously, like Chainsaw already has blades, but like honestly, like I think weapons are neat. So like a katana,
Ooh.
like you know that kind of thing. Where
Have
it's like
enough-
a weapon that
Don't have
does
enough of
weapon
those
stuff.
in modern. I
Yeah,
would
not
certainly
enough
like-
swords. That's true.
That could be flurry exploit or even precision strike, if we don't want
Yeah.
to necessarily give it blades, something, instead of like blade exploit or whatever, you just give it precision strike. Ooh, this is katana.
like a construct boomerang that has like hypersonic precision strike.
Ooh, I like that idea a lot. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Construct boomerang. If he goes, it comes back. Hypersonics. That's a cool. I like that a lot. Wizkids, ship it. Construct. That's cool. That's a cool idea.
Oh,
That is so
great!
sick.
Where are we gonna get a 3D rendering of a boomerang? We
Right.
don't have anyone in HeroClix that has boomerangs.
Less. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
If only there was a captain of some sort.
Only there is some dude, captain of the boomerang. Maybe even a spider person.
He was. I think Captain Boomerang did have a ring at one time too.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he's a Black Lantern.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I mean, so yeah. I mean, in a future set, maybe.
Future set, we get Black Lantern, Captain Boomerang. That makes the Black Lantern Boomerang. Hypersonic sweep, precision strike. I like that idea so much. It's got to be. And Jones has got to be like, now that's what I'm talking about right there, mate. Yeah. Boomerang object. All right. Yeah. Can we get some macas after this? Sorry, Ben. Apologize. Sorry, Alex's
Equip it
wife.
to Wonder Woman and Jumpa.
There you go, boy. Roman jumper. Black Lantern ring. Popping up that Black Lantern boomerang, all right? Popping a Akadeka CD on my way to Macca's for Brecky. Gosh.
Brecky. Ugh. It
Yeah,
hurts.
yikes.
Ugh.
Yikes. That's the world we live in. And then Chance finishes off all of our listener questions here on Discord for excluding Scrappy. Which version of Mystery Gang do you think best reflects the character? Not necessarily is the best one.
Ooh.
The one that best reflects.
The one that reflects the character. Oh, that's easy. So it'd be the common Fred, I think.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I think Van Fred does it the best.
Van Fred, I think, is the Fen TK leadership. That all makes sense. But then the Passenger 4 is like the coup de grace.
It's so good.
Yeah, like Shaggy having running shot perplex doesn't make a ton of sense to me. ESD doesn't make a ton of sense, especially the bottom dial steel energy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But then, yeah, like both versions of Scooby-Doo. I guess the Chase has got like the jetpack thing, so that's different. But
Yeah.
like the Charge Quake prob isn't super
That seems a bit,
Scooby-Doo to me.
wild for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Fred's sadly the most accurate, most likely.
We'll say I do really like Chase Velma a lot for her abilities and everything. It makes more sense for her to also have the ability to make an elaborate trap, really more of a
That's
her
true.
and Fred thing. So I think that trait, they all kind of work together to do it, but to actually like make a thing like that is a brainier thing that like Fred or Velma do. So I think that's really cool. She has her special like outwit and everything. No offense to Daphne and Shaggy, but normal Shaggy, I don't think he's gonna wallop you like 3 times.
Yeah.
When
when
that's
Shaggy
not
would
what I normally.
destroy a wall and then punch you 3 times.
It's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love the idea that he cartoonishly
Let me
runs
just
so
burst
fast.
through this
He
wall
runs
and
through the
punch that
wall.
suit of armor a couple times.
Yeah, Shaggy's like always rolling up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Destroy this guy. 1-2 punch. 1 2 3. Boom. Done. Tapped out. Got him. So
We got to do
That
this
one.
Shaggy versus the Chase Shaggy versus the
Ultra
50 point
Instinct
Ultra
Shaggy.
Instinct Shaggy.
yeah, geez.
See which one comes out on top. I think Ultra
I mean,
Instinct
that one is
still takes it.
also
It's hard to say.
really cool. I love the idea they just made Ultra Instinct Shaggy. For that moment in time. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
what you want. He's just hypersonic, super strength, close combat expert, best reducer, invincible. Boom. Cosmic energy can't be outwitted. I love that.
Oh, we
I
got a
love it.
comment on Ultra Instinct Shaggy from today. Cowboy Christie says, with the new rules, he's going to be grabbing up barriers. Nowhere to hide from Shaggy now, because he does
That's
have
right.
super strength top dial. So
Oh,
it's going to be a 13 for
that's
6.
you up, dude. I would say
With your
starter sets
barrier.
might be some of the most accurate versions of Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, though. So
Oh, I
Shaggy's
didn't even
like
consider
sidestep,
those,
ESD, Rob. Scooby is just a shape change 2% stealth. Much more cowering and hiding. With the sidestep ESD or just stealth from Scooby-Doo is very fitting, I think, there. I think we get our least accurate Fred, though, ironically.
Flurry,
But,
invulnerability on Fred?
Yeah, it's a little different. I think this actually might be the most accurate Daphne as well. It's okay, I brought Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks, not just snacks. But she's got support and stuff. And she got defense, super sense, willpower. Daphne was always the kind of like the not so afraid of much at all. So that's pretty fitting for Daphne. I like that one a lot. I think fits better than punch out a wall for free version for sure. Yeah, I think I really like the Daphne, Shaggy, Scooby starter set versions. I think at either point line, really, I like them a lot. I think I like them the most for accuracy wise. Yeah. And that will be all of our listener questions. So you want to hear the plug one more time for the Patreon? Well, guess what? I'm going to make it. Please, seriously, consider donating to the Dialect for Heroclix Patreon. If you don't want to donate, though, monetarily, feel free to leave a review wherever you listen to the show. Maybe you listen on YouTube, so like, comment, subscribe. hit the little bell notification to be aware of every time we drop a new episode of the podcast or a new video. Or, of course, like I said, go ahead, leave a review on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, wherever you listen. It is a huge help. Super appreciate it, guys. And that is just if you want to support the podcast, not so much with your dollars, but with, the free things you can do to help the podcast grow. And again, feel free to recommend it. Share it to your local play group. If a player is like, oh, hey, I want to get into Heroclix more, or I want some Heroclix content, please, by all means, refer them to Dial H for Heroclix. We love making content. We're start making a ton of content for new players here coming soon. Some videos they're going to really love to see. So be on the lookout for those. Yeah, guys, think about sharing the love. You don't want to support us monetarily, but if you do, hey, yo, that's why the Patreon's there. But if not, there's plenty of things you can do about Dial H. Super appreciate it.
Sure.
Also, email us. Email us at dialhforheroclix@gmail.com. And also, we have a Facebook. You can like us at facebook.com/dialhforheroclix. Already said the YouTube. And then Twitter is dialh4 for Heroclix. That's at dialh4heroclix on YouTube. dialh4heroclix, all spelled out, at gmail.com. Now I think that's everything. We also have Instagram. Don't use it much, but it's there. Feel free to pop a follow on that. That's totally everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if you want to support the people that support us, you should check out coolstuffinc.com. So we also give back. We give you a code. It's Dial5. It'll get you 5% off any purchase from coolstuffinc.com. Obviously, if you purchase enough stuff, you get your own discounts eventually. I think it's up to like 15% on singles is like the highest you can get.
So it's pretty high,
which is pretty solid. That's like, it adds up. It definitely, I don't want to look at my lifetime expenditure on Heroclix. I don't think any of us do, but I think we all can admit that even like 5%, 10%, whatever, it adds up quite fast. And yeah, they've got Batman team up stuff. Spider-Man is soon to be, I don't know, not soon to be released, but it's going to be pre-released someday. Who knows? It's like you'll be able to pre-order it at coolstuffinc.com. And if you want to pick up one of those starters to get the new PAC and all the new core rulebook and all the updates, that kind of thing, make sure to check them out at coolstuffinc.com.
Happy trails.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix?
help.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100?
Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
It's a hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that. Which,
You absolute fools, it's not.
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, attack someone.
Let's attack Simeon because he's a jerk.
Happy trails.